The following is a presentation of the Illinois High School Television Network. The Montini Broncos return to Champaign, their second straight trip here. They knocked off Joliet Catholic in comeback fashion to win the state championship a year ago. For Chatham Glenwood, it's their first trip to Champaign. Last time they won the state title was in '98 in Bloomington Normal. One, two, three, go! It's a perfect day for high school football. Welcome to Champaign, University of Illinois Memorial Stadium. We kick off a day of football with the 5A state championship game as the Glenwood Titans of Chatham take on the Montini Broncos of Lombard. Hello and welcome to Memorial Stadium. I'm Lee Hall along with longtime NFL coach Rick Venturi. Coach, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I've known your brothers Tom and John for years, and your father. And it's a pleasure to be here with one of the family of coaches.
It's an honor, Lee. Like I said, they covered the Peoria area with you and I today. But no, I'm really excited about this. Had a great day yesterday. It was great to get back into high school football. I've always loved it. Obviously, a great matchup today.
It's we're downstate guys. It's kind of downstate against the Chicago area here in our 5A game. We begin with the Chatham Glenwood Titans. 3 losses. They lost their first 2 games. They come at you with a 2-headed monster in the backfield. Von Nordheim, Moore, and Giovanelli for the Titans.
They really do. They've had to scratch it. They're kind of the blue-collar version of battling their way in here. But between V. Moore and Giovanelli, they can make big plays. They can scratch it out. They're not fancy, but they do a good job. And hopefully for them, they can hold on to the ball and have some ball control today.
Tony Giovanelli, number 7, Devin Von Nordheim Moore, number 34. We've got downstate old school versus flip side, Chicago area, and spread offense for Montini. They lost their first 2 games, but they really have it together, and it's kind of the law firm of Westerkamp and Westerkamp. Nobody gets paid unless you win. These guys win all the time, Coach.
Yeah, the cousins Westerkamp, I call them brothers. I mean brothers in arms. But, they really are. They're on display. It's a spread offense, state-of-the-art, very much like you see at Texas Tech or Missouri at the college level. Westerkamp runs it well at quarterback. He will run the ball. And just when you get ready to play the pass, that little Willis will pop through on one of those traps and give you a problem.
Should be a fun one here in 5A. We're back in Champaign with a kickoff after this. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. The North Pole is represented as well. The IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. We are back at Memorial Stadium, just moments away from the kickoff of a 5A state championship game. Rick Venturi, Lee Hall upstairs. Let's go downstairs to our sideline reporters. We begin with Aaron Bennett.
Good morning, guys. I just spoke with Glenwood head coach Dan Rourke a few minutes ago. He says the pressure will be on his defense today to keep that high-powered Montini passing attack off the field. He said with the style of play the Broncos run, there are going to be some opportunities for some turnovers. He says we, the Titans, have to be the ones to get those turnovers and then capitalize when we get those takeaways. Those will be the keys for Glenwood. For more on Montini, let's toss things over to Sophia Minert.
Guys, Montini head coach Chris Andriano said that the key offensively will be protecting his quarterback, Matt Westerkamp, so that they can throw the ball around and he can hit his favorite target, Cousin Jordan. They've connected several times this season. He says pass protection has not been an issue so far this season, but they will need excellent protection today. Defensively, he says it's going to be stopping the run, which is going to be a tough task with Glenwood's 2 big backs. He says they've got speed, agility, they can make cuts, they can make you miss, so it's not going to be a game where they're going to load up in the box. He says today the goal defensively is defeating individual blocks. Lee and Rick, back up to you.
All right, Sophia, Aaron, thank you very much. Montini and Glenwood for the 5A state championship. We're back in Champaign after this. The 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. Just about ready to get things started here in Champaign as the starting lineups are introduced, Coach. And we talk about the spread offense for Montini. And one of the things that I believe Aaron said the best way, and Coach Andriano kind of agrees, with Chatham Glenwood, Coach. The best way to defend us is to keep the ball away from us and eat clock. You know, run drives for like 6 to 8 minutes.
That's exactly right. And you contrast the two offenses. In Glenwood today, you have an offense that is 3-to-1 run to pass, okay? On the other side of the ball, with Montini, you're 3-to-1 pass. So you're totally contrasted. You want to keep that spread off the field. The other thing, as I mentioned last night when we were looking at Rochester, is when you look at a spread offense and you ball control against it, the offense tends to get a little jumpy. They want to have that ball. They want to go. If they're sitting on that sidelines for long periods of time, I found coordinators begin to panic a little bit and sometimes make some mistakes. So ball control is going to be the issue today for Glenwood.
There's a look at Dan Rourke, head coach at Glenwood High School, and his record, 16th year at Glenwood. First place in 1998. They beat Kankakee McNamara in the state championship game that year to finish off a 14-0 season. And there's a look at veteran coach Chris Andriano. 32 years, all of them at Lombard. Montini started in 1978, 231 career wins for Andriano.
Well, it's an interesting game. You know, this is very interesting also for the Springfield area. This is two top teams back-to-back here in the state championship. That's a real honor for them.
Both teams, as we mentioned, started 0-2. Montini lost to Joliet Catholic to start the year 21-7. Lost to Loyola Academy 31-9, and they've run off 11 straight since then. Chatham Glenwood started off 0-2 as well, losing to Sacred Heart Griffin and Springfield High. They also lost to 4A state champion Rochester in week 8. Those 5 combined losses, Coach, are the most in any championship game here this weekend.
Yeah, that's amazing. But, you know, when you talk about the losses now, you're talking about really top programs.
Absolutely.
So, you know, in all competitive games. I mean, it's amazing. And it's all behind us now. We got here for a reason. You know, you got the defending state champion, and you got a team that had to fight to get here that probably a lot of people didn't think would be here.
Matt Kirsten to kick off for Montini. We saw the breeze kind of blow the ball around a little bit yesterday. Maybe not quite as much of a breeze today, but it will be a factor for these teams. Tony Giovanelli back deep to receive for the Titans of Chatham Glenwood High School. The kick is deep, and it is Giovanelli catching it at his 8. He'll bring it out. He's got a lane. He's out to the 35 and stumbles at the 39-yard line, just shy of the 40. A return of 31 for Tony Giovanelli, the All-Stater for Glenwood High School. Take another look, Coach.
Great start. Nice, they opened it up in the middle, and one thing that Tony does is he gets that ball north and south, and that's what you want on your kickoff return, guys. Don't dance around. Get that bad boy up and go. Here's your 2 back, you know, going to be 1 back to start the game.
And you'll usually see them in kind of a twin setting back there. That is
a little bit different.
Devin von Nordheim Moore. He gets the first carry.
And that was the counter tray, the old Washington Redskins play. They had Gianelli up on the flank. They gave him a 1 back to start the game. A little bit different than we're used to, Lee.
Typically, we will see Tony Giovanelli standing side by side. I kind of remember the old days, Robert Newhouse, Tony Dorsett in the backfield side by side. That's
great analogy, yeah. And you haven't seen it in a while. I had to really go through the tape several times because I kept wanting to say that fullback was behind the quarterback, but they're in there locked tight. Now, normally they do a lot of shifting before the snap. Doesn't look like they're going to go. Here's your tight twin right there, tight twin look.
2 receivers to the near side.
Good action.
Miles McAdams, the sophomore quarterback, rolling out. He's got Giovanelli if he can get it to him, just over his head, and incomplete. Miles McAdams, 6-foot sophomore quarterback, Coach. Interesting story. As a freshman, he only played in 5 games on the freshman team because of injury, and he was thrown right into it this season as a sophomore.
Amazing, and I like him. They run, and then their play action with him on the move is exceptional. And for a sophomore, I've been amazed at how he throws with people hanging on him. He seems to be fearless from that standpoint.
He's really come into his own. You can only imagine. I mean, the 0-2 start, part of that was due to the fact that they had a sophomore quarterback. You know, it's trial by fire. He is in the shotgun
There's
now.
a little pistol right here. This is the pistol, the quarterback up tight. Another play fake.
Looking downfield, and he's brought down and sacked for a loss on the play. Ross Ferraro in there on the sack.
You know, and that was a coverage sack, Lee. He really had to hold it too long, and really good coverage by Montini in the back end allowed them to get kind of that second wave in there.
So the Montini defense allows nothing. In fact, it's negative yardage for Glenwood on their first drive. They'll have to kick it away. Punter Ian Richardson averages 32.3 yards per kick. Jordan Westerkamp, the receiver, fields it at his own 35, and he's brought down immediately. Good coverage that time by the Titans. Punt of 31, no return.
Well, it'll be interesting. We'll see how fast the pace. We'll see how this pace in the spread, because the offenses are similar to Rochester. Be interesting to see how close the pace is to those two teams.
There's Matt Westerkamp, the quarterback, 6'1", 175-pound senior. He's thrown for 2,600 yards this season.
Under center to start with a double wing.
Throws in the flat to his cousin Jordan Westerkamp, and a gain of 7.
That's the staple of it. That's the staple of the spread offenses. Those quick bubble screens outside. They really serve as runs, Lee. They're really no more than wide handoffs. That's what we used to say. They're wide handoffs.
I'm surprised more high school teams don't make use of that short passing game.
Exactly.
Get guys out in space and move the ball a little easier.
I was crying for the bootleg crossing pattern over the linebackers yesterday, and I just couldn't be heard.
Trips receivers left this time for Westerkamp on 2nd down and 1. And the give is to Bear.
Good job, and they're going to keep you honest. They get in the 1 back. Now they're going to pass, and then they're going to run that. They're going to run that back on the middle line, or the trap plays inside.
Frank Bear is kind of the second running back behind Anthony Taylor, who also splits out wide quite a bit for Montini. 5-4 in the regular season. A year ago, they became just the second 4-loss state champions in Illinois high school history. 1st and 10 for the Broncos from midfield.
Look for a layer pass here. 3 in a row.
Westerkamp rolling right, has a man, stays in bounds, and it's Jordan Westerkamp, the all-state receiver, 1,485 yards receiving, 18 touchdowns this season, 18 yards a catch.
Yeah, that Westerkamp family has been huge in that program, and I imagine those guys have thrown a couple in the backyard together.
Well, Matt's kind of the black sheep of the family.
Yeah,
Everybody else is a receiver. Matt's our quarterback. What's wrong with this kid? Boy, he's done a great job, too.
Spread him again.
1st and 10,
Bear
Montini. In Glenwood territory at the 36-yard line.
There it is.
Westerkamp in the flat. Joey Borsellino can't hang on. Joey Borsellino's father is the offensive coordinator, Louis Borsellino. He brought this spread offense to Montini 4 years ago, and Montini's won 41 games the last 4 seasons. Andriano, the head coach, says the philosophy has brought our program to another level.
It really has, you know, and I've been so impressed watching Rochester last night and watching Montini today is just how, and that's a highly complex offense. I mean, that's a skilled offense. You know, you'd have never thought of that in high school 20 years ago.
No.
Never thought you could do it.
Right.
And you really have to take your hat off to the coaches for putting it in, being patient with it, and getting guys to play it. A lot of 3-by-1 and 3-by-2 in this offense. By that I mean 3 receivers spread to the field and either 1 on the boundary or 2 on the boundary to create the spread. They're going to open you up, and like I said, they've already thrown 2 bubble screens.
2nd down and 10 when we return. Timeout Montini. The 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. The IHSA Championship Football is brought to you by Country Financial. What's your idea of financial security? Back at Memorial Stadium, the Chatham Glenwood defense trying to keep Montini, this high-scoring offense, out of the end zone here. It's 2nd and 10, ball at the 36-yard line for Montini. They've put together a nice little drive here on their first possession, Coach.
They really have. They've done a good job. Again, 2 bubble screens, which are, again, very much like run. Now, they incompleted on that one, which puts them a little behind in account, and see if Glenwood can take advantage of that. They're not pressuring very much. A lot of straight 5-2 defense, a lot of coverage to start the game here, Lee.
Westerkamp 2 for 3 throwing. That's Matt Westerkamp, the senior quarterback. He rolls left, little pressure, and throw behind Joey Borsellino, the intended receiver.
Really good coverage, and they only rushed 3, but they stunted it a little bit, but it looks like their plan is going to be to cover this spread rather than blitz it. You usually have to make a decision on that. Big third down.
Here comes a little pressure from the Titans.
Tight end, yep.
That's big number 73, Zach Finn up front, 5'10", 279 junior. Jake Wienhoff, number 54, Kramer Halverson, number 60, the other men up front for Glenwood. 3rd and 10, Montini looking into the sun, 36 yards away from the end zone.
2 by 2, he has a single to his cousin down here.
And he's brought down, sacked. Wienhoff.
That's just what the doctor ordered for Glenwood. That's 2 big plays right there. Got pressure on the first one, got a sack on the second one.
Jake Wienhoff, just his 2nd game back. He tore his ACL in a camp at Northern Illinois over the summer. His first game back was last week against Ridgewoods out of Peoria. So a great return for Jake Wienhoff.
And what they did, they have been rushing 3. That time they brought 4, tied the inside guys up with twist games, and freed up the outside guy on the edge. Big stop right there. That's got to be a confidence getter.
Alex Walters to punt for Montini. Really nobody back for Glenwood. This will bounce inside the 10, and it'll be a long field for the Titans as Montini downs it at the 7-yard line. Punt of 38, and a good job of bouncing it inside the 10 for the punter Alex Walters, who averages 34 yards per kick.
One thing that's really important in that series, and I emphasized it so much as a defensive coordinator, when you play the very explosive, fast-paced teams on offense, is to kind of get through that first part of the game. Usually the game is fast, and it'll come back to you, and that was a good job by Glenwood. Great job to get started. Unbalanced line here, Lee. Unbalanced with your twin backs.
You see Von Nordheim-Moore and Giovanelli back there together. Von Nordheim-Moore with the carry. Nothing doing there. He's a 3-year starter for Glenwood. Now, Chatham is the town south of Springfield.
Right.
Glenwood is the name of the high school. I've always thought all these years that it was
the reverse.
Well, I always thought it was Chatham and Glenwood were 2 towns and combined, but it's Glenwood High School in Chatham, Illinois. Played baseball there about 100 years ago. 2nd game of a doubleheader. Our starting catcher was Joe Girardi.
Joe, I know.
We've combined
Northwestern guy.
Yeah, we've combined for 4 World Series rings, Coach.
How about that? How about that?
I got to play game 2 of the doubleheader thanks to Coach Dave Lang. Appreciate that.
Here's your twin. Here's your twin backs. Now they're back to basic.
2nd and 9.
Oh, here's your flip.
Here's the give to Giovanelli coming to this side of the field. Not a lot of real estate there as he's run out at the 8-yard line.
Actually, Lee, the way I look at this team as I break them down on offense is Moore is really the inside guy. He's Mr. Inside, and Gianelli is the outside guy. And that's his favorite play right there, and they're going to come back to it. That's if they get the defense in there on the inside game. That flip has been a very productive play for Gianelli on the outside. Giovanelli on the outside.
Ian Richardson, the senior, running the play in for the Titans as they look at 3rd and 9.
Oh, now that's a big snap. That makes this 3rd down much more manageable here.
Ross Ferraro jumped for Montini.
Always want to emphasize inside your 10-yard line on defense, not Montini. To get the quick count, because that's a classic offensive move, is to use the funny count to try to draw you to get a little daylight. Very smart there of Glenwood.
So hard sometimes for those defensive linemen to wait for the movement of the ball.
Especially early in the game. They're all geeked up, ready to go. All right, now you got a manageable 3rd down here.
3rd and 4, 3 receivers right this time.
Yeah, this is the pistol. I haven't seen that with that tailback behind the quarterback.
Oh, his downfield is complete to Richardson, and a 1st down for the Titans, their 1st of the game.
And you see the difference on that, Lee, is if that's a 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10 there, it's hard to run slants for a 1st down, but when you get into a 3rd and 2, your slant game is there, you get rid of the ball quick. But the pistol is a little bit different. I didn't see that a week ago. That's where the quarterback is in the gun, but he's in short to the center, and there's the tailback behind him, so it's really almost like an I formation.
And that's different from the shotgun.
It's very different.
Because he's closer?
Very different. He's closer, and you have a tailback that can go both ways. There's the dive. Now that's inside to Giovanelli.
Giovanelli with a gain of a couple. He is an all-stater, 1,094 yards. He didn't start in the backfield offensively until game 3. Coach Rourke, we were talking last night, and he said we really were kind of committed to get 22 starters on the field, and we had some guys in spots that maybe they shouldn't have been yet. They're sophomores. Maybe they're going to be great players for us, but not yet. And Giovanelli moved back to the backfield. They switched some things on the offensive line, and that really got this team going after 0-2 start.
I think they've got to be really happy that they did that. I think that you could trace the success of their offense with that move.
Absolutely.
Giovanelli is a very, very fine football player who can crack it. He's one of the best ball players in these games today, in these 8 games in the last 2 days. Real tight twin again. 2nd and 8.
Here's Von Nordheim more to the right side, trying to get wide a little bit. Gain of about 3, maybe 4.
Von Nordheim Moore is a tough player. A lot of inside stuff, but they do a good job of keeping you honest. They don't run a lot of plays, but what they do well. Now again, they're in a pretty manageable 3rd down, 3rd and 4, pretty manageable. You got most of your options here that you can run. 3rd and 9 is that situation you don't want to be in, particularly at the high school level.
The Montini defense has been kind of susceptible to giving up some rush yards. 248 yards allowed in round 1 against St. Francis. 3rd and 5 here. There's the pistol again.
Pistol again.
Nowhere to go.
Good coverage. Again, nowhere to go. That's right, Lee.
Well,
nowhere
McAdams had Giovanelli. He held the ball a little too long. Should have got it out there to him. And a mistake that time by the sophomore allowed Montini to come up with a sack. Should have got rid of it right here.
I think he felt that corner rolling up there at the last minute. He got a little bit nervous in his own territory.
And that's Zach Tredenik with the sack. Not Zach, Zech, Z-E-C-H. Zach Tredenik, the senior. To punt, Alex Walters. Check that. Ian Richardson, the punter. A bad kick out to midfield, and the fair catch called for by Jordan Westerkamp at the 48. Punt of just 26 yards. Wasn't as good as it looked from up here, I guess. And it'll be Montini ball. 5:14 to go here, first quarter. Neither team has found the end zone yet. Montini, a nice drive before it stalled. About the 30, 35-yard line last time. So it'll be Westerkamp, and family here trying to get their offense going. Westerkamp under center. Don't see that all that often, although we'll see some new wrinkles in the state championship game.
And that's Willis inside. Good run, good hard run. Kept his pads down. Looked like he was going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage and managed to eke it out for about 6. But you're right. I mean, this is a little different wrinkle on both sides. The pistol, you know, for Glenwood, and a little bit more under the center here for Montini.
Brings up 2nd and 3. Westerkamp under center again. Quick throw to the near side is to Borsellino. He's still inbounds inside the 35-yard line, down to about the 32.
That's a quick bubble screen again. That's just, I look at that as a pitch sweep out there. One receiver blocking for the other. Now, the thing that I like about what Montini is doing by being under center and having Willis right behind the quarterback, right now the way Glenwood is playing, they're playing a 5-2 defense, very straight, not a lot of movement inside, so they're a little bit vulnerable inside those bubbles to that straight pick play right there. Came right there. See, they're playing them to pass, they're playing them to spread, and this changeup is hurting them a little bit because it's, again, allowing them to run quickly into that 5-2 front.
Pick up of 19 there for Dimitri Willis.
See, they just run off the nose, Lee. All they do, and they got those 2 linebackers with big bubbles in there. So they're going to force an adjustment, I think, here pretty soon because, you know, when they give you a spread idea, but it isn't a spread. Now they're truly in the gun, which is a little bit different now.
Dimitri Willis, their leading rusher, 456 yards on the season. 1st and 10 from the 13. Westerkamp keeps it.
Yep, that's it.
Look at him go. He's still going, Coach. Terrific. Inside the 5, all the way down to the 2-yard line for Matt Westerkamp.
And he does that well. Westerkamp runs well inside the tackles. That's a design lead play. Now they're going to hurry up right here. Try to get him before they get set.
Westerkamp will try it again. The push is there, and he's in for the score. Matt Westerkamp, his 12th rushing touchdown of the season, gives Montini the early lead here in our 5A state championship game.
Well, they really made their money on that drive inside the tackles, and even to the end there with the sneak, but all the yardage other than the bubble screens. And I think Glenwood's going to have to make an adjustment in their lead right now in that 5-2 defense, because that's exactly where they're going to get pounded in there. It's a little bit different offense here today, a little different start. Smart over there by Montini.
Matt Kirsten, the point after attempt, he's 51 of 53 this season. Kirsten's a senior. His kick is up and good, and it's 7-0. Montini, the Broncos, aiming for their second straight championship. They take the early lead over Glenwood High School. Matt Westerkamp taking care of business himself. Back after this from Memorial Stadium. Lee Hall, former NFL coach Rick Venturi here in Champaign. Montini 7-0. Interesting, coach. I thought for a spread offensive team, 2 good runs from Dimitri Willis and then a couple of just smash mouth up the gut by Matt Westerkamp.
Yeah, they really did. They changed gears. They even from the spread, they ran a lead play inside. So, they're going to attack that 5-2. Now, I saw Glenwood earlier in the playoffs from their 5-2 do a lot of stunning. So if they're going to stop him, particularly when the quarterback's under the center and Willis is behind him for that quick hitter, they're probably going to have to start moving that defense. I don't think they can play straight and hold up from that standpoint. But again, that was very much 4 inside runs and 2 bubble screens. Bubble screens to keep them honest, but this was not the characteristic spread. This was a different look and very effective.
Matt Kirsten will attempt to kick off again. Keep that baby on the tee. Giovanelli is deep for Glenwood. Booming kick. And it's off of Giovanelli into the end zone. It'll be a touchback for Glenwood. They will start at their own 20.
What's difficult, Lee, and it's really, you would do it in a college level. You would definitely do it in a pro level. You almost need to automatic the defense based on if the quarterback is under the center or if he's not. Now, that's very difficult to do in the high school level. But
what do you mean by that?
You almost need to change the defense based on whether the quarterback's under center or in the gun, because they're giving them 2 different offenses and they're doing it with the same personnel, which is effective.
Miles McAdams, a sophomore, is under center this time. Giovanelli and Von Nordheim more in the backfield. And somebody got the snap count wrong. The entire left side of the Glenwood line moving there. Our officials today, Carlo Ferreri, Stephen Hayes, Thomas Eagle, Mike Botts, and Jason Foy, all from the Quad City area.
First down.
So that penalty against Glenwood will make it 1st and 15 now.
Yeah, they need to get something to get them out of this bad field position. They've been backed up twice and end up giving the ball to Montini at midfield. Now they spread them out a little bit. 1 back in the backfield.
McAdams back to throw. Has to move around a little bit. The sophomore loses the handle. Fumble. It looks like Montini might have it. They do.
Again, another good coverage play, Montini. Montini very impressed with the coverage. Really no place for him to go. He starts to run around and a little loose with the ball.
3-year starter Ross Ferraro, 5'10", 225-pound senior, was there to pick it up.
Really good zone defense back in there. Nice deep drops by the linebackers. And now we got red zone defense. This is a critical play here for Glenwood. Critical series now.
Backs against the wall literally here. Westerkamp to his cousin, Jordan. And a 3-lane into the end zone. Dove in. I don't know that he needed to, but he gets the score. 13 yards, Westerkamp to Westerkamp.
Excellent play. This is just the reverse of the bubble screen. Now, rather than throwing the screen to the inside receiver, you throw the screen to the outside guy coming back in, and you set a picket fence for him as he catches the ball and runs with it.
19th touchdown catch of the year for Jordan. It's the 28th touchdown pass for Matt.
The one thing Matt really does well is throw that ball to receivers coming inside the formation. He's done it well, whether he's on the move or not. He's got a real nice touch with the wideouts coming back underneath. But again, that's just all forms of that spread speed game.
Tom Montini the hold, and the kick is no good for Matt Kirsten. So it remains 13-0 Montini. There's a look at Jordan Westerkamp after the touchdown catch from his cousin Matt. There he is. His dad Bob is on the coaching staff, played here at U of I, transferred to Benedictine where he was an All-American, was on that Rose Bowl team for Illinois in '84.
Yeah, that's a family affair, and they're cooking today. Matt really, I think, is together. They came out with a game plan. I think they've got Glenwood really off balance, and Glenwood just can't afford to turn it over and let them play on a short field. They're going to have all they can do to stop them on a long field. They certainly can't give it to them inside the 20. They got to answer here pretty quick. They got to answer right now. The momentum is all Montini right now. So Glenwood's got to keep their heads up. They got to do it series by series and try to get right back into this game.
And the touchdown off the turnover, as you see there, makes it 13-0, 3:25 to go here, first quarter. And the Glenwood offense needs to get a good drive put together here, Coach, and get themselves on their
struggling.
feet.
They can't get the running game going, and they're just not that good a passing team. They just look, they're trying to do the things, but they're just struggling. They just don't look the same when they're not running the ball late. That's why they can't let it get too much further distant, because I don't think they can make it with the passing game.
That's Roz Harris. He fumbles, and it's Montini with another recovery.
He got chilled on this one. Good kickoff coverage, went down, physical play, blew it up.
Tom Desmond, Coach, with the recovery on the fumble by Roz Harris. It's spelled R-A-Z, but pronounced Roz, short for Razine. He was making some good yardage there, but then fumbled it away, had it stripped out of there.
Back to under center now. Willis right behind him.
Matt Westerkamp to Taylor.
Taylor, who's got terrific speed.
He's knocked out at the 8-yard line. That's the first time we've called Taylor's name. That's Anthony Taylor, 6-foot junior.
Anthony's one of those guys that can turn a 4-yard gain into a house play. He's got tremendous speed. He really has great timing on that bubble. He knows how to take it and cut with it.
Win over Marmion in Week 9. He had a 70-yard touchdown catch on the first play of the game. He's very explosive. 3:11 to go, first quarter. It's all Broncos to this point. And Matt Westerkamp tried to throw a little out there. And,
tough decision by Matt. What they did was they gave him the appearance of a single over there, and then they buzzed the linebacker underneath it. It was pretty wise to throw it away. I think he had the one-on-one over here to his cousin on this side. I think they'll look that over and maybe come back the other way.
Dan Smigo, number 9, was the intended receiver. 2nd and 8. Westerkamp 5 for 7, 60 yards and a touchdown throwing here in the first quarter.
Now see the single is on this side to 81. Looks like maybe a blitz look. They're walking around like they may be coming.
And a flag before they can get underway. Maybe a delay of game.
Yeah, I think Matt was trying to look it over. I think he felt blitz. He wanted to go to an ideal call. And normally what you'll see, Lee, is when the quarterbacks in the spread offense read blitz, they automatic to the bubble screen because they got single coverage on the outside, and they can get a blocker and a ball carrier. That's kind of an audible. That's the new thing in college and high school football.
2nd down and 13. Well, you can see how
man coverage, straight man coverage.
Here comes the blitz and a sack.
Got him.
Kramer Halverson with the sack.
Good effort by Halverson upfield. They're having a little bit of success when they pressure off the edge. That seems to be what Montini's had some problems with. Good job by Halverson. Good rush.
Dan Rourke knows. He says our team's going to have chances. I think he was talking more about maybe trying to, the ball's going to be thrown around a lot. We've got to try and take it away. That's another avenue of trying to stop this Montini offense, now faced with 3rd and 24. 3 receivers left for the Broncos, up 13-0. Westerkamp looking for another score. Taylor, Giovanelli, who's got it?
Giovanelli's got a good interception.
Oh, what a big defensive play for the Glenwood Titans.
That was really good defense. They were going to run that drive play again underneath. Glenwood took it away, and Matt went up high to the 2nd receiver. He wanted to throw the drive in here. He doesn't have it. He throws it over the top. Really good depth by Giovanelli. Obviously a terrific defensive player. We know that. That's stamping it. That's signaturing the play right there.
Well, we talked earlier, Coach. He started the season. He was only playing safety.
Yeah. No,
now he's going both ways.
He's a very, very good defensive football player.
All right, a break for Glenwood after turning the ball over twice. This is Von Nordheim-Moore. He's met right at the line of scrimmage and loses maybe a yard there.
They're really scratching to run the ball. They're even spreading the ball, which isn't really their personality, but they know they've got to find a way to run it. They're going to have a hard time if they rely on the passing game, but unfortunately they're ending up in these 2nd and longs. By not moving it on 1st down, you get behind an account and it gets difficult.
Not very productive so far for Glenwood. They touched the ball 4 times, 2 punts, 2 fumbles. And I believe 1 first down. 2nd and 11. Here's Von Nordheim-Moore, a little room to run, and gets out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Von Nordheim-Moore had 180 yards, 3 touchdowns in the semifinal win against Peoria Richwoods, and said after the game, I'm going to have to go buy my linemen some ice cream or something. I mean, they really did a great job for me.
Well, they need to do a good job today. They need to keep that ball moving. This 3rd down, again, is manageable. By that, I mean it's 3rd and 3 to 4. In the National Football League, for instance, a 3rd and 3 and a 3rd and 8, the flip of offensive winning versus defensive winning is like 75% on those 2 distances. So when I say manageable, you have all your options open to you.
Giovanelli.
Oh, good call. Good call. Put it back to Giovanelli in the Wildcat formation. In the Wildcat formation.
Oh, and another fumble.
Oh, my.
That came out late. And Montini recovers. Goodness gracious, that's 3 fumbles already for Glenwood, Coach.
That's such a shame, Lee, after getting a great stop down there and actually getting some things going. A couple first downs, looked like they were going to get right back in it, and now they got their back to the wall again. Coaching defense right now, you're in close quarters, Lee.
Phil Giordano with the strip again this time for Montini.
Tight trips there, tight trips. A cluster to run the toss crack.
That's Taylor with it. He's got some running room to the outside and out at about the 23-yard line.
If you notice there, they tightened their offense. They made a little cluster out of it with 3 receivers, gave them good blocking angles, got it to a fast guy. Taylor getting outside.
2nd down and 2. Montini showing a little versatility. You have to show a little versatility, I think, to get to this point. People are scouting you all year long, Coach. So,
I think they've done a terrific job. Now here comes a little pressure.
Westerkamp looking to Jordan Westerkamp in the end zone, diving grab.
It's a family affair. Family affair there. He got him in man-to-man coverage. You know, I mean, Glenwood could only play zone so long backed up. They tried to bring the extra backer. They got caught man-to-man. He split the coverage.
Montini coach Chris Andriano says Jordan Westerkamp has gymnastic body control, and we see it here. Oh, my goodness, what a great catch.
Great catch. You know, you had just alluded to it. This is a very skilled offensive unit. I mean, there's a lot of guys that can make plays. Willis, Taylor, Westerkamp. I mean, you've got guys that can actually play beyond the scheme as well as a quarterback who can really deliver it. Very impressive. Great game plan today. Fake it.
Little fake. 2-point after. And that was the holder with the throw. We've got a player down. Tom Montini with the two-point conversion throw. And we've got a Montini player down. 21-0 Montini.
Hey, come on, guys.
3 fumbles, all lost. Coming into the game, 22 fumbles for Glenwood. They'd lost 15, so this has been a bit of a problem for them this year, Coach, holding on to the football. And Montini with the two-point conversion throw to give Montini a 21-0 lead. Anthony D'Amato with the catch in the end zone.
Yeah, you play a highly skilled team like this, you almost have to play flawless on offense. You got to hold on to the football, make first downs, eat clock, because when you give it back to a team like Montini, anywhere, much less on a short field, they just got too good a skill set. They're gonna find ways to get it in there.
Like Matt Kirsten got hit pretty hard there. Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown, Coach.
Again, you're gonna see him out here wide, and you see the zone guy underneath. We're gonna come right over the top here, right over the top, and he's gonna split that coverage right there. He gets a step, and that ball's delivered right where it has to be, over the top. If you underthrow it, they've got a chance. Good throw and tremendous catch to finish it off.
And more.
Well, he gets to the state title game and breaks his dad's record for catches in a season. Bob Westerkamp caught 82 passes in 1982.
And, you know, I'm really impressed with Matt at quarterback. You know, I think he's really made only one decision. And even then, when he saw the coverage was there, he threw it away. So he didn't give himself a bad play. But he's found out where the single is, where the vulnerability is on every coverage. He's very well schooled. He knows what he's doing. So, and again, I really like what they did. They came out today in that quarterback under center. I think they disoriented the Glenwood defense a little bit. And again, though, the biggest thing is you can't let a good team like this play on a short field.
Can't let them play on a short field. You can't keep giving it back to them, and that's what Glenwood has done. Matt Kirsten limped off the field, the Montini kicker. So it will be Drew Hart to kick off for Montini. Andrew Hart, I should say. And it's Roz Harris. He fumbled the last time he brought a kickoff out, and he's brought down at the 20-yard line. Another good job of coverage by Montini. Tom Desmond with the tackle.
Raz has got to be careful holding that ball in the right hand all the time, coming into that traffic like that. This Montini outfit can swarm the ball, and they're going to knock it out if they get a chance.
Dan Rourke, after winning the semifinal game a week ago, said it's kind of somewhat surreal. I'm sure he might describe this start as somewhat surreal for his team.
Yes, sir.
Three fumbles.
Now they're back into the Wildcat, which was effective before the fumble. Giovanelli back in the Wildcat now.
And
good
hit right
adjustment.
at the line of scrimmage.
I think they caught him off guard the first time, and then the second time, Montini was ready and ready to go. You pretty much know one thing when you play a Wildcat and you put a running back there. If the defense is smart, they know they can load the box, because you're not gonna have to defend the pass. You know, Miami Dolphins had great success with it 2 years ago, and that's diminished as time has gone on, because people have figured out with a running back there, you're limited.
That's the end of the quarter. It's been a productive one for the Montini Broncos. They have taken the ball away and taken a 21-0 lead. 2010 IHSA Football Championship brought to you by Country Financial. Another sunny, blustery day in Champaign. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Lee Hall, former NFL head coach Rick Venturi, bringing you 5A state championship football. Montini 21-0 over Glenwood. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Glenwood to start the second quarter. Trying to stay warm out there. Hot chocolate in hand. That sounds good. Oh, that sounds good. Coach Dan Rourke talking about his offense, and you talked about how they have to run to get things going. He said our backfield and our offensive line are our mainstay. We need to be able to run first and then branch off from there. And you can't do much of anything when you're handing the ball away. And you punt, fumble.
And both good running backs are averaging right around 2 yards a carry. So that's kind of the tail of the tape, the turnovers and lack of running.
And here goes a penalty. So you got 2 punts, 3 fumbles. They did get an interception to kind of balance out one of those turnovers.
False start.
But
there's another problem.
Yep, they just can't establish anything, and they get behind the count. Now, one thing Montini does, Montini's as fine a coverage team as you'll see in high school. Obviously, from playing their own offense, there's very little open back there, which creates a lot of problems for the quarterback.
Unable to run. Look.
They get, I mean,
Phil Giordano down there.
It's 2-6, 1-8. Right. You know, I mean, it's a tough day at the office right now.
Tough start. Giordano is scratching in his tracks, ready to get going against this team. And completion by McAdams to Ian Richardson. They've hooked up a couple of times this morning. McAdams with the completion of 20 yards.
And that really is the best part of their passing game, when they can give you that play action, that crossbuck action, and throw in the seams. That they got a big play last week off that seam pattern. That's how they have to live, and they don't want to panic. They cannot try to be what they're not right now. They've got plenty of time. They got to sustain a drive, get a score, get back within range.
Second first down of the game for Glenwood High School out of Chatham. And Von Nordheim is grabbed in the backfield, but it'll be a penalty against Montini. Ross Ferraro, the team leader in sacks and tackles for loss, made a great play, but got a little face mask, it looked like there. We'll see what the call is.
This is going to be their best friend here right now, this face mask penalty. You'll get the ball to midfield.
5-yard face mask.
Inadvertent
on Montini. Repeat, first down.
You can hear the Glenwood fans not agreeing with that. They thought it should have been the full-fledged face mask.
Ross Ferraro in that middle is really doing a good job of penetrating in there. They tried to run the trap there. He was in the backfield. He disrupted the whole action back in there. Very active on defense, Montini.
He's a heavyweight wrestler, Coach, undersized. Coach Andriano says he uses his leverage, uses their body weight against them, and does a great job against the opponents. 1st and 8 after the penalty. This is Giovanelli with room to run out to the 45-yard line. Tony Giovanelli.
Now they look back to normal. They get a little break there, and they get that running play going. Looks to me like it's a little bit easier to run the perimeter day than inside. I mean, Big Ross is jamming up even on that play. I watched him. He had the play jammed up inside. So, you know, they're going to have to nickel and dime him to the outside, mix a little play action seam with it. Now they're back in their comfort zone here with the little tight twin offense. Gianelli flanked a little bit to the left.
Pitches to Von Nordheim more. He gets outside the numbers, a gain of about 3.
Just a little better on the edge, even though it's not fantastic, just a little bit better on the edges.
He battled a injury late in the season, did Von Nordheim more. A shoulder injury caused him to miss week 9 against Springfield Southeast, but he is back and running strong in the postseason. We mentioned he had 180 yards against a very solid Peoria Richwoods team that had knocked off Joliet Catholic in dramatic fashion the week before in the quarterfinals. 2nd and 7. Best drive of the day thus far for Glenwood. The sophomore McAdams under center. And it looked that time like Montini jumped. Zach Tredenik patting his helmet, says, "That's my bad."
Dead ball. Encroachment.
So the drive started with a penalty against Glenwood that hurt them. Now Montini is having a little trouble.
As much as Glenwood is struggling, all those incremental 5-yard gains are humongous today. I mean, they keep the drive alive. Now we're in a 2nd and 2. Again, they've got to stay patient. They can't panic and get out of their mode. Unbalanced.
2nd and 2. Von Nordheim more.
That's tough duty. It's tough duty inside.
Short.
Tough duty inside on this Montini group.
And the one thing, Coach, the other thing that Dan Rourke said, by bringing Giovanelli into that backfield, people were keying on Von Nordheim more. They can't do that as much.
No, they really can't. They really can't. And again, I think they're going to have to get a little cross buck action, which they ran. They run effectively, fake it to Moore inside, and give it to Giovanelli on the outside. And they're in that tight backfield. That's what they usually do at front. 3rd and 1. After this, I want you to tell me what cross buck is. Okay. There's Giovanelli for the first down. All right. Does that have anything to do with deer hunting? Actually, well, I guess it could be. But actually, what I mean by the cross buck is the old-fashioned cross buck, and this has some old-fashioned characteristics, and that is to take your inside guy, number 34 Moore, and block him inside, fake to him, and give it across the formation, the cross faking the buck action, across the formation to Giovanelli, which the cross buck tends to freeze the interior of the defense. 1st and 10. All right. We're going to have to sit down and watch some tape after this. I know. Explain all this stuff to me, all right? Well, the team that really makes a living out of it, now they take it to another level within the wing T, but when you watch Illini West yesterday, their whole system starts off what we call the buck trap, and then the sweep off it, and then the counter away from it. And as you watch that game evolve yesterday, they probed and they end up having to come back to the counter, of which they were able to run 4 or 5 times and actually break the game open yesterday. I think I may have seen that against Newman, the way you're describing it. Sterling Newman yesterday. 1st and 15 now after the penalty against Glenwood. Kind of a little bit of a sloppy start here, but a nice draw play action to Von Nordheim Moore. He's deep into territory, Montini territory, down to the 15-yard line. Oh my, what a play. That's what they've come to expect out of Devin Von Nordheim Moore. 34 yards on the pickup. Great design for the senior running back. Great design. They spread them out and they ran a draw. They have been an effective draw team earlier in the year. Haven't run with them till that play right there, and they spread them out. And man, he took it and he plowed with it. He went to state on the track team running a relay, and that was a solo job there, and a nice run, nice blocking action by Glenwood to get them into the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 15. Here's Von Nordheim Moore again. Gain of a couple. Tredenick in there on the tackle for Montini. Come back with a little trap there. And you're in 4-down territory here, down 21-0. So again, just run your offense. Don't do anything silly. Just keep that thing north and south. You're in 4-down territory. Yeah, this is a team that started 0-2. You wouldn't expect them, and they didn't give up on their season. You would expect this kind of comeback and recovery by the Titans, facing 2nd and 7 now at the 12-yard line. Down 21-0. A little trouble with the snap. McAdams hangs on to it and gets positive yards out of it. It looked like he had a little trouble with the snap there on the exchange, coach, but turned it into positive yards. Nice play by the sophomore. Good job by the kid. He just picked it up, put his shoulders down, and plowed ahead. Yeah, he struggled coming out of there, but he had the presence of mind to tuck it and to drive. Woo, baby. Coach Rourke talking about his involvement as a quarterback, and says the game has slowed down for him now, and it was happening so fast early in the year, but the evolution, the game has slowed down and he's playing rather than thinking the game. 3rd and 3 now. Unbalanced now. They put the extra guy to the right. Extra guy to the right. Here's Giovanelli. Excellent. He's in for the score. And the Titans are on the board. 8-yard touchdown run by Tony Giovanelli, the All-Stater. Excellent design there. They got an unbalanced line, and Montini did not adjust. So there was a big gap between the nose guard and their left end, a big gap. They ran the lead in there. Moore blocking for Giovanelli with a big hole. Big block by Moore, but also they created the hole with the unbalanced line. And the unbalanced line, you almost have to move the nose guard over. They didn't do it, and I think they got an advantage on that play. Luis Jimenez with the extra point. Tony Giovanelli getting the Titans in the end zone and on the board. 21-7. Montini with the lead. A
little life on that Glenwood sideline, Coach Venturi. A nice drive. It's amazing what you can do when you don't fumble the ball.
Oh, really and truly. And that looked exactly like the Glenwood that we've seen in the playoffs. They stayed within themselves. They didn't panic. They did get an explosive play to Moore on the draw, which you need to do. It's hard to methodically drive at any level 70, 80 yards every time for a touchdown. You need an explosive play within that. But again, they dialed it up. They stayed within themselves, and that's what you have to do. Now, somehow, Lee, they've got to come out with a really good stop here to get some defensive confidence, and they'll be back in it. But that's no easy task against this Montini outfit.
21, or check that, 21-7 is our score. 14 points off turnovers for Montini, and there's a look at what happened. 17 yards, 3 turnovers for Glenwood. Last possession, 80-yard drive and a touchdown. And the kickoff brought out of there by Taylor across the 20, and he's
good defense,
brought down at about the 22-yard line.
Good defense. You know, they're up a little bit now. I think they're picked up again. Let's see if they can get a defensive stop, because I think they had to gain some offensive confidence on that drive.
The defending state champs, Brandon Peckloff was their quarterback last year, passed for over 3,000 yards. Matt Westerkamp, 2,600 this year as a senior. And a little fake and give to Bear. And not much room to run there. Nicely
well done. Now
sniffed out by Glenwood.
If you notice, they were playing that wide 5-2 most of the first half. That time they squeezed the left tackle down, their left tackle or left end, and to try to close off those bubbles. I think they're subtly adjusting now on defense.
Boy, what? Yeah. So much for time of possession, Coach.
I know.
12-4 in favor of Glenwood. 21-7, the important stat. Montini with the lead. Taylor in motion for the Broncos. Fake give to him. Matt Westerkamp keeps it. He's got a big lane. He ran for a touchdown earlier, and a huge gain here out to the 46-yard line. Pickup of 23.
This is a very difficult thing, and Matt does that better than people think he does. You know, the quarterback is hard to account for in the run on the spread, because you're spread out all over the place. Then there's a little misdirection fake underneath, and all of a sudden he's coming through that. He's kind of, it's almost like playing with 12 guys. You have a quarterback, but he's also the tailback, you know.
Well, and Chris Andriano says he runs like a fullback, because he'll initiate contact.
Yeah,
he's a pretty tough runner.
He's an inside runner. He's a tackle-to-tackle guy. He's not a perimeter guy. Now they sink down that 5-2 again. See, they've got to stop that inside running play when that quarterback's under center. That's been the difference today, is the inside run. The inside run is what's hurt them, whether it be the quarterback draw, you know, whether it be Willis on that quick hitter. And so you're seeing a bit of an adjustment, but still Montini's offensive line is getting some movement.
Willis got 4 with the forward progress. It'll be 2nd and 6 from midfield for the Broncos. A comeback win here a year ago to beat Joliet Catholic in the 5A state championship, trying to make it back-to-back titles for Chris Andriano.
Might be a blitz mode here.
Play clock was down to 5. Westerkamp caught from behind. Jake Wienhoff with the ankle tackle there.
And this is what I saw earlier in the playoffs. They sink those tackles down and bring those linebackers to the outside. A little games inside right here. You see the tackle is sunk down. There comes the linebacker. Now that's what you want to do with Westerkamp. You want to force him to the edge. Don't let him run the ball inside, like you say. Don't let him run the ball like a fullback.
We told you about Wienhoff and how last week was his first game back from a torn ACL. He's already signed to play football at Illinois State. Pretty
critical third down here, Lee.
Pretty good indicator of his talent on that play, Coach. And we've got a
no doubt about it. He's very, very active. I can see what people liked about him early. He's come back off that injury and looks like he's picked it up where he left it off.
We've got an equipment issue for one of the Glenwood players.
Well, this is a critical third down right here, because if with 4:05 to go, if Glenwood can get them off here, okay, and get the ball and get a drive going, they can stay right in this ball game. This is also big for Montini. They got a chance to break their back here if they get on this drive before the half.
Like Taylor or check that Andrew Baker, maybe with a bloody nose, so they brought him out.
Got a cluster over here. They wanted one-on-one to the side, but that linebacker's walked out on Westerkamp on the outside. So usually there'll be some kind of check here, usually into the three-man side. A lot of coverage there.
3rd and 7 for the Broncos.
Gonna rush 3, I think.
Westerkamp back to throw, has time, looking deep, has a man. It's Jordan Westerkamp, and that's going to go for a touchdown. 49 yards, Matt Westerkamp to Jordan Westerkamp, and it's 27-7 Montini.
That's essentially the same play that they ran in the red zone where he made the diving catch. They put 2 guys on him, but the corner stayed outside, and they split him. They split in between the 2 guys right through the post. And again, he gonna lay it out there.
Check that, 51 yards.
51 yards.
Westerkamp to Westerkamp. It's their 3rd hookup of the game.
What's happened is that the low cover guy is low and can't get back, but the corner stayed outside, which made that coverage very vulnerable to the post. And actually, they've been splitting it now twice for touchdowns.
Matt Kirsten got hit pretty hard on the last point after attempt. That one is up. It is good. It's 28-7. Westerkamp and Westerkamp.
Watch him split it here, Lee. See that corner gets spun around by Westerkamp. Instead of maintaining his inside leverage, he gets beat in there, and there's nobody there. Very effective approach. You know, the
28-7. It's Westerkamp and Westerkamp. We kind of kidded that sounded like a law firm. There's a law firm in Central Illinois. They say one name says it all. Westerkamp says it all for these guys.
They're doubling him inside and out, but the corner has got to stay inside. Watch Westerkamp spin the corner, gets him turned, and then he splits it inside. That's 2 touchdowns, see? It's an attempted double, but they're losing the inside leverage because Westerkamp was able to spin the corner outside.
Wow.
And that's his 2nd touchdown really on the same coverage. The diving catch in the red zone was exactly the same coverage.
It's a
good
beautiful
offense.
Beautiful
really
thing
is.
to watch. Tough if you're Glenwood, but a beautiful thing for
good law firm effectiveness right there.
That's right, yeah. That is the 3rd touchdown catch for Jordan Westerkamp, and that sets a 5A state championship game record. J.C. Bland of Sacred Heart Griffin had that in 2003. So that is a state record, 3 touchdown catches.
It's really impressive, and you know, they, like you say, they've been in the offense for 4 years, but you know, when you stay with something, whether it's the spread, whether it's a Illini West wing tee, and coaches really understand it, they're able to make those subtle moves, that little post into double coverage. You know, they're able to call the game better because they've stayed with something. They understand it. Not only teaching it, but understand how to call it at game time.
Ooh, boy. Their nickname is the Broncos, and that was kind of like calf wrestling right there. It was Hammonds, the sophomore, with the return for Chatham Glenwood, and he was brought down, and it will be a drive that starts at the 19-yard line for Glenwood. Jordan Westerkamp's 3rd touchdown catch sets the state record for the 5A title game. Matt Westerkamp's 3rd passing touchdown ties the state championship record in 5A. 28-7, and already a flag.
The guard on this side's in the neutral zone. Yeah, he's in the neutral zone, the guard.
Quite a few penalties so far in this game, Coach. Miscues on both sides.
How can that one be? I'm not sure what that is there.
Dead ball. Encroachment. White.
Oh, boy.
Repeat 1st down.
Let them play.
That one happened before they got anywhere near the...
Let them play a little bit.
So far for Glenwood, the story has been penalties and most notably fumbles. 3 fumbles.
Yeah, the turnovers.
2 of them turned into touchdowns.
They're up against it regardless because this is a very, very good Montini team with tremendous skill sets. So, you know, they just can't afford to put themselves in a further hole. They just lengthen the field.
1st and 15 from the 14-yard line. McAdams to throw, looking for Ian Richardson. They'd hooked up twice earlier in the game. That one falls incomplete. Dan Rourke says we kind of feel like the country mouse going up against the big city, you know, and so far it's the big city and the spread offense that's
kind
in
of
the
closing
lead,
the door.
But the country mouse is not taking care of the ball.
They really haven't. They really haven't. There's a formula in a game like this one, but you really have to play it to perfection. You got to move the clock. You had the one good drive, 80-yard drive, and other than that, they've really hurt themselves. Double spread. Look for that draw again. 2nd
and 15 this time. There's the draw again. Good call, Coach Von Nordheim Moore again. It worked for him so well earlier, and this one takes it out to the 35-yard line, a pickup of 21.
Right now, feed the beast on that draw. You know, that's the best play. That's the most explosive play. That's the only time when they get in that spread that you'll get Montini to get out of that 30 defense, and that's where that middle opens up. You know, when they've got their regular 5-2 defense, it's next to impossible to run in there. But they've popped those 2 draws by getting them into a wide open formation.
No penalty there, but a sideline warning against Glenwood.
Don't self-destruct, guys. You got a chance. You got to get back in here. You go on this drive, go down in there and stay within range.
Boy, there's so much to keep track of if you're a high school football coach, isn't there? You got players, coaches and assistant coaches, and worry about the game. You got to worry about the sideline. I mean,
I've noticed there's a little bit
on.
less angst in the booth than down on that sideline.
Is that right? You like it up here, do you? Glad to have you here. All right, it's Von Nordheim Moore with the carry. He's brought down after a gain of a couple. Well, you know, for those people who those few that don't know you or your background, your father Joe was a coach for years. I remember him from his days at Pekin. You know, John, longtime coach at Washington, won 2 state championships. I remember your brother Tom was an assistant coach at Illinois State.
Yeah. John and Dad are in the Hall of Fame. I'm the guy that struggled and has to keep working.
Yeah, we know that's not true now. 3rd and 8. McAdams. Oh, a little razzle-dazzle there, and they blew it. They
just can't help themselves today. They just can't help themselves.
That was kind of a YouTube moment there,
really
Coach.
Was.
I mean, they were looking to try and do that fake play, and McAdams came out of there checking his wristband. Oh, I don't know the play, and then they tried to snap it directly to Von Nordheim Moore, and he couldn't hang on to it. Ball. Having a little trouble hanging on to the pumpkin today.
Now we create a 3rd and a mile here against a real coverage team. So
you see so many trick plays now, and that's what I meant by the YouTube moment.
No
There's
doubt.
all these
no doubt.
plays, guys dropping on all fours, barking and acting like they don't know what's going on, and that the trick didn't work that time. 3rd and 12 for Glenwood, trying to pull one out of the bag there. McAdams to throw. Another fake play.
Goodness.
Gives it like Statue of Liberty to Von Nordheim Moore, and he's near a 1st down. Brought about a yard short. Was that what, did I call that right?
You called it exactly right.
Statue of Liberty.
We've gone to the YouTube offense here. Just don't get the penalty and you'll be all right here. This is another YouTube moment.
Back to throw.
Yeah,
there it is.
You got a form of the statue right there.
How about that?
How about that, Lee? You probably ran that at Spalding, so I got the feeling you know that play. You know?
I don't know if the Statue of Liberty was there yet.
Yeah.
Been a long time ago. Long time since I wore the purple and gold. I was a baseball player. I can't take credit for playing football. I wish I could. I'm still bitter at Mom and Dad. They wouldn't let me play.
101. We got to get moving here on offense now.
4th and 1. They're going to go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Now go.
I don't think they got it. The mark is short, and it'll be Montini ball. Went for it on 4th and 1 at their own 44, and come up a yard short. And Chris Andriano, you are correct. It is Montini ball. I think Coach Rourke is kind of thinking, boy, we got to do something here. We got to kind of pull a few tricks out of the bag.
I really understand it. It's just you just got to make it at the end of the day. I mean, you're down 28-7. You got to hope you can make a short yardage play.
Well, and in his defense, there's only 49 seconds left here, so there's not a.
I'm with it.
Doggone.
You don't save it for the holidays. I mean, you gotta try to pull out your best shot.
Now they got to try and keep Montini out of the end zone before the half. Complete. Westerkamp. He's running east and west and making some yards out of it is Jordan Westerkamp.
Well, he's already on a record-setting pace, and we're halfway there.
He gained 16 yards, Coach, but he ran about 50.
He really did. He's really terrific.
Watch him go east to west here.
The initial, and this is sharp offensively. The initial pattern was covered. He uncovered the quarterback, found him. Now we're spread out. We're stacked on the left.
6 catches, 127 yards for Jordan Westerkamp. Matt Westerkamp looking to throw to Taylor out to the right and incomplete.
Little half roll. I think Matt throws the deep ball, and I think he throws inside just a little bit better than he throws outside. I think if they can run that drive in there, there's 35 seconds. They have 2 timeouts, so they've got plenty of time. They got operating time here.
2nd and 10 for the Broncos. This kind of offense is nothing new to Chatham Glenwood. They see it from Rochester, Sacred Heart Griffin, Springfield High, Jacksonville, all in the Central States 8.
Here's that inside
has a man
throw.
coming back to him. That is Borsellino. He's still on his feet, brought down to the 21-yard line as the clock ticks.
Use your timeout.
And they get a timeout with 25 seconds to go in the half. Coach Rourke joked that they held Jacksonville to 47 points in the second week of the playoffs. That was a Jacksonville team that knocked off Sacred Heart Griffin in week 1.
Well, one thing about the 2 spreads that I've seen in my last 2 games between Rochester and Montini is they do it with a great skill set. They're not only well-schooled, they're well-coached. It's very impressive to me. I mean, the way that you can get high school kids to fit into that offense, and I mean, if you close your eyes, you're looking at Texas Tech and Missouri, really, honestly, on these offenses. And what I like also is the skill set, and we went through a period of football when you were trying to recruit a kid out of high school. You didn't get the throwing quarterback. You got all option stuff, and this is going to open it up for the colleges again to have kids like this available that have played in these offenses. Sam Bradford came from Oklahoma to the Rams. He's probably going to be Rookie of the Year, and this is the offense that he played in at Oklahoma. And you watch these kids operate, and you see the similarities in development.
Got themselves a pretty good quarterback in maroon and gold here.
Really
Matt Westerkamp, number 3, 6-foot senior.
Now you got a cover 2 look back there. I don't think they want a single Westerkamp over there on that side. They want to get out of that coverage they were playing there.
3rd and 3, 27 seconds to go, first half.
Now they create a 4-man side.
Westerkamp to Borsellino, halfback pass, looking for Jordan Westerkamp. It's caught out of bounds.
Good job by Giovanelli back there. He didn't bite on that. See, they tried to get a big play, try to fake a quick screen, actually throw it out there, but it's a double pass. And what you want to do is get everybody to commit, but Giovanelli did a really nice job, showed Wise and Allstater back there on defense, didn't get sucked up by the play and was able to cover that thing.
Well, that was Joey Borsellino with the pass attempt. Take another look here. Joey's dad, we mentioned he's the offensive coordinator, so Joey knows the offense. He can probably throw a little bit if dad's an offensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
4th and 3, 20 seconds.
1 timeout in the bank.
Westerkamp tries to get the first down on the ground, and a big stop by Chatham Glenwood.
And that's good for Chatham.
16 seconds.
As tough as it's been, you end the half on a very positive play. You go in at halftime and you got something to build on. I mean, these games can change in a second, and at least you got something to build on. That would have been the breaker right there if they get in.
Kramer Halverson limping off for the Glenwood defense. 4 turnovers for Glenwood. And Montini has turned them, some of them at least, into points. Here's Von Nordheim Moore on the left side. And very likely that could end the half.
Got to regroup now. You got to regroup. Again, build on the positive, build on the 80-yard drive, build on the last stop. Down but not out, as I say.
Turnovers and taking advantage of them. That's helped Montini to a 28-7 halftime lead over Glenwood High School from Chatham. 28-7 our halftime score. The 2010 IHSA Football Championships being brought to you by our friends at Country Financial. We are back at halftime. Montini, the 28-7 lead. Our Aaron Bennett is down on the sidelines. He caught up with Broncos head coach Chris Andriano.
We're here with Montini head coach Chris Andriano. Coach, you guys were able to capitalize on a few big turnovers there in the first quarter. Got a nice lead here at halftime. You're pretty pleased with the way your team's executing right now?
Well, yeah, the turnovers early really got us juiced up. I thought we played very well in the first quarter and jumped on them early. And how about Jordan Westerkamp? He's pretty special, isn't he? I mean, he's been on fire this half, and Matt Westerkamp, his cousin, they've been pretty good so far. So we're really happy with where we're at right now. We know we got another good half to play.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. Chris Andriano, his Montini Broncos, one half away from another state championship.
32 years, 231 career wins for Chris Andriano. Boy, and he's got a special one, all right. 28-7, the Westerkamps and the Broncos leading Glenwood. Back in Champaign after this, the 2010 IHSA Football Championships, brought to you by Country Financial.
We're back at the 2010 IHSA State Football Championships. We're at halftime of the Class 5A game. We're here with Libby Kasich, the marketing director for the Champaign County Convention and Visitors Bureau. A lot of action here on the field, but I know you're here to talk about some action outside the field for the fans to get involved in.
That's right, Aaron. Tent City is happening across the street, and we actually have a really great turnout today. The teams are really jazzed, they're really pepped, and we're happy to award the spirit competition for the 5A game to Glenwood. They went all out with their tent and did a really cool job decorating. And inside Tent City, we have a mechanical bowl, which the kids are loving right now. And we have free hot chocolate, cotton candy, popcorn. They're face painting, so everyone is, displaying their school spirit. And to come inside from the cold, they can pop in and watch the games on our big screen TV too. So there's a lot going on over there.
Yeah, and this is something that we've seen grow every year. More schools, more fans get involved in different creative ways. Is that what you've seen over the last few years?
Oh, absolutely. And the community has really embraced it as well. And we have local fans that are coming out to cheer on the teams, and they're popping over to Tent City. And every year, I think the spirit grows, and we see by the busload, the teams come in, and they're just really ready to celebrate. So it's a really cool atmosphere.
And things like this, always good for the community as well, the businesses and things like that. You get fans out there in the Tent City, and they, go to the local restaurants and businesses like that. How have you seen that kind of impact Champaign?
Well, the economic impact of Tent City and the entire event is huge. I mean, our hotels are overflowing right now, and the restaurants, are seeing a really nice business come through. And actually, at Tent City, we offer discount dining sheets, so the people who come in can pick those up, and we partner with local restaurants to provide good deals for them. So they really like to see that.
All right, thanks a lot. Libby Kasich, marketing director for the Champaign County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Tent City, go check it out. We're at halftime of the Class 5A game. Montini with a big lead. We're back with more after this.
Back at halftime, a sun-splashed day in Champaign, Illinois. 28-7 Lombard Montini over Glenwood High School of Chatham. Lee Hall, former NFL head coach Rick Venturi here at Memorial Stadium. We welcome you back. Hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend. Coach, pretty impressive game by Montini so far. Glenwood has had their problems. They couldn't hang on to the ball. 3 turnovers. Montini turned that into 14 points. Otherwise, maybe we have you can't take those away, obviously, but otherwise it's a 14-7 ball game.
No, you hit it right on the head. Coach Andriano, that was funny to me. That was coach speak. We played pretty good. They played really good. They played really good. Very impressive with the passing game. The Westerkamp law firm was awesome. They were absolutely awesome. Glenwood really, they beat themselves, as you said, 2 critical turnovers to give them direct touchdowns. But I think at the end of the day, they've got to go back. They've got to play on a couple positives. They did have an 80-yard drive. They did get a stop at the end, and they're going to have to be themselves. They're not going to come and all of a sudden be a spread offense team. So they're going to have to shore up the defense. No big plays, particularly to Westerkamp on the outside. You get some stops and move that football and try to close it down.
Yeah, we joked it's Westerkamp and Westerkamp. It sounds like a law firm. And I keep having all these law firm slogans coming into my head. Of course, the D came up big here and set up Matt Westerkamp early. This is a big defensive play by Glenwood. Their defense had some good plays in that first half, but then it was the turnovers that really cost Glenwood Montini turned him into 14 points. Matt Westerkamp with the touchdown run here. They kind of looked like a running offense there, that first touchdown drive, but then it was Westerkamp to Westerkamp in the dive for the touchdown. And Westerkamp, because you want to win. That's the long term.
You can add
slogan.
that again. And again, that was the first of two passes to him through double coverage where he was able to make the play. You're going to see the big one in a minute, the long one where he splits the corner and the down safety.
Tony Giovanelli, the touchdown run there to get Glenwood on the board. Here's the one you're talking about.
Here's the big one. Very impressive offensively. The other thing I think that's been very good is Montini defense, exceptional on pass defense. And the only thing they've been hurt a little bit on is when Glenwood opens the formation and runs that draw in there to Moore. That has been the best play that they've had.
There you see the 3 turnovers versus 1, and that's really the big number. Giovanelli came up along with his touchdown with an interception at the goal line. Otherwise, this really could have been worse for the Glenwood Titans.
It really is, because Montini is on the route to a 450-yard day, and Matt Westerkamp is on the way to a 300-yard passing day. If they, and for them, they just got to keep the throttle down. I mean, they don't really have a way to slow it down. So basically, Montini has to keep the throttle down and go for the juggler.
Can Glenwood get something going here in the second half? We'll see. Don't go away. Grab something to drink. Stay warm. It's a cool day here in Champaign, but some great football action coming your way after this. The IHSA State Football Championships in 2010, brought to you by Country Financial. Let's go downstairs to Aaron Bennett. He is with Dan Rourke of Chatham Glenwood High School.
We're here with Glenwood head coach Dan Rourke. Coach, a rough first quarter there with the turnovers to really let them get a big lead on you. But after that, you guys really ran your offense well, and it's been pretty even since then for you guys.
Well, yeah, you spot a team like this 3 on the turnovers, and that's something we haven't done, and especially in the playoffs here. So, yeah, we're just trying to regroup and make sure that the guys just settle down and play football.
What kind of adjustments do you guys need to make heading into the second half?
I think just settle everybody down, make sure that they understand that we got a whole half to play here. We're 3 scores down, and we just have to dance with who brung us, and that's our running game, and try to get in some passing plays, and we just gotta stay together.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. Glenwood head coach Dan Rourke, his team down 28-7 as we start the third quarter.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. You can see the wind blowing a little bit here in Champaign, and Mother Nature starting to turn up the ice box a little bit on us.
Well, I couldn't agree with Coach O'Rourke more. This is not the time to panic. You're not going to change gears. Now, this is a moment of truth coming up right here. This is a series of truth. That first series of the second half, Montini's going to get the ball. It's incumbent now on Glenwood to go down and get a stop, and to get themselves to stay within striking range. So, got to get good kickoff coverage. Got to go down and play great defense, and I'm sure Montini will have the throttle open.
Luis Jimenez with the kickoff. It's Taylor catching it high over his head at about the 6-yard line. He's still on his feet at the 25 and brought down there at the 27-yard line.
That wind is tricky. In the 3 games I've done, I've seen some of those over-the-top catches. They scare you, but I think that ball carries a little bit on those kids at the end.
22-yard return. Brandon Montre of Chatham Glenwood with the tackle. Here's a look at the road to Champaign for Montini. Tough game against a conference foe, Wheaton St. Francis in round 1. They beat Sycamore 28-7. Beat Woodstock Marion Central in round 3 in the quarterfinals. And then the win over Caneland last week, 27-14. Here's Taylor with the first play from scrimmage in the second half.
Taylor's another versatile guy on this team. He can play as a receiver. They bring him back in motion like that. He carries the speed sweep. He's I call him wild cards, or as John Gruden on Monday night calls them, jokers. Guys that kind of are combination players that really give your offense versatility.
9 catches in the quarterfinal win against
Now they're walked
Marion
out there
Catholic.
on Westerkamp again. Now make sure that corner plays inside.
Here's the give to Willis.
Good job. Now they're mixing it. They started out in a spread, went back to their quarterback under center. That's been a really good adaptation from Montini today. It's given him an inside running game that hits quick, that attacks that 5-2 defense, and they've used it very well in the mix. See, they go back and forth, lead from behind the center to gun. That creates a lot of problems to the defense.
1st and 10 from the 39. Westerkamp steps up. Not a lot of room to go there. Jake Wienhoff with the tackle. He bench presses 400 pounds.
And I think he did on that play right there. He's a really fine football player. Glad to see him back.
Right. Tore his ACL, didn't play all season until the semifinals against Richwoods. 2nd and 9 for Matt Westerkamp and the Broncos. Westerkamp throwing for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. That ties a 5A state championship
Now they've got
record.
3 on him out here.
Borsellino with the catch, and he doesn't have anywhere to go. Eric Kerr, team leader in tackles, in on the tackle there, number 11. He's a 6'2 junior for Glenwood High School. You get a good look at him.
One thing I noticed, they're putting a lot of coverage to Westerkamp, which is an obvious thing. So it looks to me like Montini's going to try to run the bubbles, run the speed sweep away from 81.
3rd and 9. The Glenwood fans on their feet making noise downstairs.
Big 3rd down here to keep them alive. All right, they've got that coverage one-on-one over on the top side on Westerkamp.
Matt Westerkamp back to throw. Into coverage. Jordan Westerkamp reaches behind him and makes a great catch. The ball it didn't lead him enough. He had to reach behind him, but makes a great catch, and it's a 1st down after a pickup of 20.
You know, the amazing thing is they're trying to double him. They've got a guy short, and they've got a corner on top of him, but he's running through the coverage, both deep. Early in the game, you know, they ran the post over the top. This time he just runs a turn in and runs in between the 2 guys.
Chris Andriano says he's the best receiver I've ever coached.
Well, you're not going to
you're
not going to get much argument. I trust the coach anyway, but you're not going to get much argument today.
Borsellino with a handoff. He's free at the 30, down to the 20, and it takes a couple of Titans to bring him down at the 15-yard line, inside the 15, and a flag late on that play after a pickup of 27.
Now that was an expansion of the playbook. That's the counter play off of their spread offense. They run the counter to Borsellino. That's kind of very much like the Illini West play, except Illini West does it from tight formations. But all of a sudden they run a lot of things into the 3-by-1. Now they bring the counter play back away for a big play.
White. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
And it's just another penalty, another self-destruction here. You just can't do it in big games against good teams. It's very difficult to recover from.
5th penalty of the game on Glenwood. That one half the distance to the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal from the 7. Boy, the Glenwood defense had him in 3rd and long. Coach couldn't stop him. Jordan Westerkamp the catch, and now all of a sudden they're in the red zone knocking on the door. Westerkamp, nobody open, runs to his right,
Smart.
Looks for Borsellino and throws it away. That's a tough thing for a high school quarterback to learn, I think, is to throw the ball away and move on to the next play.
That's impressive, and particularly in the red zone. The red zone, you don't want to take yourself out of scoring range. It's so important. If you can't make the play, get rid of it. Keep the field position.
2nd and 7. 2nd and 7 now for the Broncos.
What has been really impressive in the last 3 games is the big players, the guys with the big bios coming in have delivered. Westerkamp, tremendous game. Now they got 3 on 2 out there.
Westerkamp looking right and almost picked off at the goal line. Andrew Baker. Sorry, that's Zach Jose.
Jose on that one.
Number 53.
Who's been one of their leading tacklers all season. Now, again, we got a critical 3rd down. They lost it on the big 3rd down to Westerkamp. Let's see what happens here.
Would have been a...
When in doubt, we go to Jordan.
Yeah, that would have been a nice defensive turnover there for Glenwood. Instead, they are trying to defend 3rd and 7. And a whistle, and it looked like delay a game.
You'll get the delay sometime with the spread offense because they're very careful. They'll check with me at the line.
Delay a game.
And they'll basically
Montini.
check from
3rd
one
down.
play to another one based on the look. There, he held it. He wanted to see the coverage out to that 3-by-1. He's actually was going to throw the bubble screen out there. They thought they had numbers on the edge, and they were going to throw the bubble. Now they're loaded to the 3-by-1, and they're single back here. So look for him to throw back to this side, back to the weak side.
3rd and 12. Westerkamp rolling right, looking for Jordan, and a nice play. Good coverage by Glenwood.
Well defended.
Michael Fiash with the coverage. He's a starting center fielder on the state baseball championship team for Glenwood. He comes up big there, and Coach Rourke says, you know, he looks like an average kid. He's an average kid. He's an average kid. And then all of a sudden he comes up with a big play. Yeah. And there he was.
Big play. Real good defensive call. They had the coverage overloaded out there. I'm really kind of surprised that Montini didn't come back to their X end or their split end.
Matt Kirsten with the field goal attempt, 4 of 10 this season. His long field goal is 38. This one will be 29 yards. Tom Lentine the hold. Snap is good. Kick is up.
Yeah.
And Matt Kirsten with the field goal. It's good. 31-7. Montini with the commanding lead here in our 5A state championship game. The 2010 IHSA football championships brought to you by Country Financial.
Want to reiterate that.
Back in Champaign, 31-7, Montini the lead in the 3rd quarter, Coach. And one thing that can't go overlooked on that series of plays for Montini, we talked about Westerkamp throwing the ball away and keeping the drive alive, and that turned into 3 points for them.
Really did. Those are the little things that make the difference, whether it's on Sunday, whether it's a Saturday in a state championship game. Good coaching, good quarterback play, took care of the ball, didn't throw it away, threw the ball away, didn't throw an interception, and most importantly, didn't take a sack in the red zone. That allowed them to have a little chip shot for a field goal, come out of there with 3 instead of empty-handed.
Kirsten will kick it away for Montini. And it's picked up there by Donovan Hammonds. He had a 71-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against Bloomington in round 1. Brings it out near the 30-yard line, just short of there. Return of 8 that time for Donovan Hammonds. And Dan Rourke on that Glenwood sideline looking for some answers, trying to get this offense going. They got the one good drive, but then really haven't been able to get anything sustained.
If you ever had a no huddle in your package, now would be the time. Yeah, right now you're up against it. No, they're going to open it up. They're going to go 3-by-1. Shift back to normal. So
see how they play it here. McAdams, the sophomore quarterback.
And there is your crossbuck. That was, you know, during hunting season, that's the crossbuck right there.
I think that's the crossbow.
The fullback hits one way and the halfback crosses over the top.
That was Giovanelli with the carry. Tony Giovanelli is waiting on a call from West Point, trying to get an appointment to West Point. That tells you a lot about this young man.
Oh, it really does.
Academically, athletically,
and
what kind of kid he is.
He would fit so much into that program, you know, both as a young man, but also he would fit beautifully into their football style, the way they play, offensively or defensively.
2nd and 8. Giovanelli is split wide this time. McAdams rolls out, looking for a man, has him at the sideline, and that's Roz Harris.
As Harris. Again, I really like the way he throws on the run. You know, he's a young kid, but he's unflustered. Just keep him moving out there. He'll deliver the ball. He does a good job with people around him.
He says McAdams says he really felt like he grew up in their loss to Rochester. That was week 8. They lost, but he went 11 for 21, threw for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got hit pretty hard, had to come out of that game, but really, and Coach Rourke said he kind of felt like the switch came on in that game. And here's Von Norheim still on his feet, and he is gone.
And that was the cross buck to the house.
59 yards.
We'll show that one. We'll show that
Holy
one again.
moly.
We'll define this cross buck here.
We've seen him make a couple of good runs on the draw play earlier, and this one he takes it to the house.
They switched it. Usually it's Moore who does the inside, and it's Giovanelli on the outside. Here's the cross action, and you'll see the guards pull. There's the cross. That's what the idea with the buck action inside.
Missed tackle there.
And yeah, he's a man now running that football. You better take him out. He will run that football north and south. He's having a huge day now.
Extra point is good by Luis Jimenez. And Von Nordheim Moore with his 18th touchdown run of the year brings a little life to the sideline. Von Nordheim Moore with the touchdown run.
Well, Coach Rourke hit it on the head. He said we got to go back, settle down, do what we do. And that cross buck is actually, we didn't see a lot of it in the first half, and that's a staple in their offense. They switched it up a little bit, you know, gave it to Moore as the outside guy rather than the inside guy.
Doug Diedrich looked like had him wrapped up. This guy is tough to tackle. He's kind of like he's been impressive.
Fire plug.
I mean, he's tough.
He has really been impressive running the rock now.
I was going to say spark plug, but he's like a fire plug. I mean, he's really hard to bring down. And 161 rushing yards for Glenwood, 59 of them on that run by Von Nordheim Moore, 3-year starter for the Titans. 10-3 coming into this game. We mentioned they lost their first two. They lost to Rochester. This is one of 3 conferences playing for 2 state championships this weekend. Of course, Rochester won the 4A state championship here last night. Montini is out of the Suburban Christian Blue Conference. Marmion will be playing for a state championship later today. And then we saw Maroa Forsyth and Tuscola out of the same conference yesterday playing for state championships in 1A and 2A. 7:22 to go here in the third quarter. A little life for Glenwood, a little bit of wind down there too. They'll have to have a little help on the kickoff. Nathan Hack will do the holding for Luis Jimenez. Take a little short and it'll bounce out of bounds, and that will be a flag and a do-over, as we used to say in the neighborhood. A do-over. Be a re-kick. Will it not?
You said it right at the 40 in high school, 35-yard line.
Correct.
Okay, they're going to go back and I think either bubble screen or nickel and dime inside. Now they got Willis again behind the quarterback against that 5-2, just like they started the game. Now they're creeping off the edge there with the outside backer. See if they slant down to stop it.
Westerkamp to give.
Better.
Willis with not much running room that time. 7:07 to go here, third quarter. 31-14, the Montini lead. Von Nordheim Moore with a touchdown run to go along with one by his running mate Giovanelli for the Titans here. 2nd and 9, Matt Westerkamp takes the snap, gives to Bear. And Bear gets about 3 yards. Frank Bear, the 5'9" senior.
That's 2 runs in a row. That's exceptional for a spread offense. Normally they can't call 2 runs in a row there. Big third down now. This is we gotta get them off here.
3rd and 7. They had this on the last drive.
Yep.
And Montini was able to convert. They'll try and do it again here. Dan Smigo split to the near side. Westerkamp rolling right, looking downfield, has a man. Brought down short of the first down. Great coverage that time. Borsellino with the catch. It was Eric Kerr who had 12 solo tackles in round one against Bloomington, 13 tackles against Richwoods, with a big tackle there to keep Montini shy of the first down marker.
Big tackle. Really had to hold on to the coverage because Matt does a good job. Matt Westerkamp does a good job of extending the play. If he'll try to extend it, he'll try to move out of the pocket and create time for his wideouts, and they plastered. We call it plastering the coverage. They plastered it well.
Colin Stokes is back to receive that punt. Boy, kind of a shank there, wasn't it?
See, crazy things start happening in this game if you just keep your poise now. All of a sudden, you're at midfield here.
8 yards on that punt by Alex Walters. He averages 34. Well, that was a little bit by like my 3-iron. Just shank you very much.
Get a little conservative with the ball. All of a sudden, you're right back in it.
All right, so this is the best starting field position of the day for Glenwood. They scored on their last drive. Here's the give to Giovanelli, the second guy through. Gets across the 50 before he runs out of bounds. Gain of a couple.
Lee, they've really gone to that cross-buck series. They've you know, other than the draw play, it's been very tough sledding inside, but you know, they've found ways to kind of crease the outside to get their basic offense back.
And again, if you're just joining us, Giovanelli was playing just safety the first 2 weeks of the season, moved to running back in week 3. He said, I didn't lobby at all, with a smile on his face, but I was hoping. He didn't lobby, but I was hoping. And he's not far from the state capitol. They do a lot of lobbying there, but he says he did. Here's Von Nordheim Moore. Gets outside, but then not much after he gets out there. A pickup of about 3. He'll bring up 3rd down and 4 for the Titans.
Just flipped it, just ran it the other way, just switching that crossbuck back and forth.
Montini starting to see a little bit what Richwood saw last year. Roland Brown, their head coach, said, we got mauled like we were carrying a jar of honey and being chased by a grizzly bear. And that's what this running game can do to you, Coach.
It really can, you know, and it's been so impressive by V. Moore today. I mean, you know, I thought he was going to bust that one. I don't think he sensed that outside pressure coming. Opened him up.
3rd and 4. And nothing doing that time. It's Montini right there. Zek Tredenik with the tackle. He transferred to Montini from Driscoll Catholic, and they've been in the title game 2 years with Tredenik on the roster. And Chris Adriano says he's got a tremendous motor. He's always hustling, and that's what you would expect from a guy that great football tradition of Driscoll Catholic.
They've done a great job of closing the trap part of the inside game, which is obviously a big part of the Glenwood game, and they've done a really good job of closing it down.
4th and 4 at the 45. And they're going to go for it out of the pistol. McAdams has room to run, and he's going to get a 1st down and more. And loses the football. Boy, oh boy, how many times has that happened today? That's
football.
That would be the 4th fumble.
I think they're going to catch. I think they're going to maintain it. They do.
For the first time today, they get their own fumble back.
Really good presence, though. Really good presence by Miles McAdam to hold on to that football. Everybody was covered. There's been good coverage all day. He tucked it. He found that opening inside and went. Big conversion.
Great run. Lucky to get it back after coughing it up. I think he got it. I think it went right back to him. Here's Giovanelli.
Crossbuck to the right. They're just mixing it both ways.
Not a lot, but a pretty good run. 3 or 4 yards there. Second and 7.
Coach O'Rourke is staying the course, just like he said at the half. Doing what they do. The only way you're going to get back in.
A little over 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Glenwood playing much better ball here in the 2nd half. Here's the pitch to Giovanelli around the left side. Tries to turn the corner but can't. Nice job there, J.R. Campisi, who had a touchdown-saving pick against Marion in the end zone.
Campisi came off that corner position, and he came up and made a heck of a tackle. Put that shoulder in there on the flip. The flip has been a big play. Good job by Campisi. Good fundamentals.
Campisi right there. Frank Bruscinelli, the linebacker, was right there as well. 3rd and 5 now.
Again, these are 4 downs now. These are 2 downs to get this, because now you're playing to win it. You know, you got 2 downs to get it, so you can call the game smart.
Harris is the man in motion, and time expired. It's delay of game. Play clock expired, delay of game against Glenwood. Unless they got the timeout before that. And apparently
I think
they did.
I think they did, Lee.
They did.
I think they did.
All right, so it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Titans when we come back from the 32-yard line. The IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. 31-14, Montini leading Glenwood. The Titans of Glenwood, though, making a run here. 3rd and 6 from the 32-yard line. McAdams fakes and then hands off to Giovanelli, and not much there. The Montini defense sensing the draw that time. 5 returning starters on this defense for Montini. They've been through the wars before.
It's going to take another big 4th down conversion here, because you know, every inch here is important. They tried that draw and they just got a lot of pursuit from Montini. So we're back to that critical 4th and 6.
The Montini players
taking a lot of time here. Taking a lot of time. That's okay.
5.
As much as I don't like to burn timeouts, in this situation, the game's on the line, so there's no sense saving them. You need to keep this thing alive right now.
As Elvis said, it's now or never, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you'd like to hang on to those, but this, if you don't score here,
you
don't have much time.
You're saving them for the holidays.
Yeah, right. So what is Glenwood talking about? Well, hang on one second, Coach, before we get to that. The broadcast rights for this event have been granted to When We Were Young Productions by the IHSA. Any reproduction or rebroadcast without the express written consent of When We Were Young, the IHSA, is strictly prohibited. So you're 4th and 6th, and this might be your season right here.
Yeah.
What are you going to do if you're Glenwood?
In your game plan, you have situational plays. 3rd and 6th, 4th and 6th. You have situational plays. So I don't think there's a decision. I think this is just getting everybody over, assuring everybody what they want to do, what they've got to do. Most of the time in this situation, you're going to do something where the quarterback is on the perimeter, where he has some options, where you're not just one player out.
Play of the game perhaps here, 4th and 6. Harris is the man in motion. McAdams rolls left.
Run it. He's got it.
He's got it.
And that's exactly.
And then some. Boy, what a great call, Coach.
That's the point I was making. You want to get that quarterback on the perimeter so that if the pass isn't there, he's got another option. You don't want to be limited to one-dimensional in that situation. And again, 2 timeouts or not, the drive is still alive.
Well, that looks like that looks like genius right there, making sure this drive stayed alive. And you know, it's the play of the season, but you've had the ball in the hands of the sophomore quarterback all year long.
All year long. He doesn't play like a sophomore, Lee. If somebody didn't tell you that, you'd never know that.
First and 10 from the 22. Giovanelli trying to get to the corner. And
back to the crossbuck. And that's Bear coming up on the other side. Those 2 corners will fight you. They will fight you.
Frank Bear, a nice job coming up and making the play. Let's listen.
Look at that tackling. You've seen 2 plays by the 2 corners of Montini that are just special. I mean, those are tackling out there. That's what you love to see. You hear about cover corners in the NFL. You know, that repulses me.
Chris Andriano says there's no off switch for our defense, and you saw some of that right there. McAdams rolling right, nobody open, loses the football, gets it back.
Again, good presence. He doesn't panic. The only thing that he's got to do, I think, a little bit of ball security on the move. He's a little loose with the ball. He's got to pick that up, which he will as a sophomore. But he doesn't fluster. He really doesn't. Even though he was in trouble, he didn't panic.
But here's what he didn't do that Matt Westerkamp did, Coach. Didn't throw the ball away.
Didn't throw the ball away. That's right.
And I don't.
That's right.
You know, get rid of it, throw it out of bounds, and go to the next play. That's something he's going to learn.
He's going to learn it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And you see a lot. That's one thing that I've seen some high school quarterbacks do, and it's tough to learn. It's tough to do, I'm sure. But that's a smart play that we saw from Matt Westerkamp, and one that maybe McAdams adds to his repertoire as he feels a lot of pressure here, gets rid of it, gets away from it and gets rid of it, and the intended receiver was Ian Richardson, and it falls incomplete to bring up 4th down and 18.
Actually, Lee, I think it's a little, you get a little bit more accustomed to those situations when you're in a pass-first offense like Montini. They're in that situation. It's a little bit like being in the NFL. You're in that situation. I think it's a little tougher, sophomore notwithstanding, to be really a running team, and all of a sudden you're throwing 2 passes to win.
Here's a look at the game summary, brought to you by Country Financial. 180 yards rushing for Glenwood. 2 of 3 on 4th down. They got a big 4th down here in Montini with 286 total yards.
Cover 2 behind it. You want to get somebody down that middle.
McAdams looking for Richardson, and it's picked off. Alex Walters with the interception for the Montini defense.
That was unfortunate. Really, they did a good job of coverage. They wanted to throw the deep seams in there. It wasn't there. And McAdams has no choice there. He's got to try to make a play on 4th and 18. If you give it up, you give it up. You got to try to hit it down that middle on that cover 2. He had the right idea.
Chris Andriano says Alex Walters and his best friend Doug Dietrich at linebacker, the heart and soul of the defense. Walters with a big play there as Glenwood was trying to change the complexion of this game. Instead, it's Montini ball at their own 35 with 18 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, leading 31-14. Westerkamp throws, and it's a little bit behind Taylor that time and incomplete.
One thing that's been impressive all day on the Montini defense, and I think this is something that's hard to achieve on the high school level, on any level, is they've done a really good job with their perimeter defense, their coverages, playing that deep cover 2. Sometimes they play quarters, but their linebackers are underneath people, get really good drops. They really get back in there. They deny that second level pass.
2nd and 10 for the Broncos. Borsellino in motion. He gets it. Reverse the other way.
Good time.
And that was Taylor, who gets maybe almost 4. A little razzle-dazzle there from the Broncos, and that will be the way the 3rd quarter ends. They hold up their 4 fingers for 4 quarters. That's how many we play, and we play them with all our heart. Montini leading it after 3.
Big
we're
third
back
down.
at Memorial Stadium. Yeah, big 3rd down here for Montini, leading 31-14 as we start our 4th quarter. Matt Westerkamp back to throw, a little floater, going for the screen to Bear, and it's incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down. We take a look at our stats through 3 quarters. 223 yards. Glenwood has really bounced back, putting up some good yards and making an effort here in the second half. But Montini 290 yards, and those 4 turnovers to 1, 14 points off turnovers, and Montini doesn't need that kind of help.
They really don't, but you have to take your hat off to Coach O'Rourke and his staff. I mean, they did not allow their will to be broken. This is 7-3 second half ball game for a team that looked like they were out the gate. So, they're still battling away. You got to respect that.
Colin Stokes to return for Chatham Glenwood. 40-yard punt that time by Alex Walters, 11 on the return. 31-14 our score as we start the 4th quarter. And Glenwood, they almost got it done the last time. They really need to get something here. McAdams, the sophomore under center, he's made a good account of himself today. They try that draw again to Von Nordheim Moore, and it was very successful in the first half. Not so much here in the second. Von Nordheim Moore talking about that 0-2 start and how they survived that and got better. He said we get better every week because we work hard in practice. You have to be dedicated in what you do. So this young man, as a senior in high school, he's already learned a very important lesson that he's going to carry with him the rest of his life.
He really has, and it's reflected in his play. It really is. You can't walk out of here tonight without being impressed with that guy.
He's on the carry again, but Montini defense will not bend.
Now they've tightened it back up on the run. See, they started to get hurt on those crossbucks. Now they've tightened it up back over there on defense.
Brucinelli, the linebacker, 5'11" junior with the stop that time.
This 3rd and long, has been Glenwood's worst nightmare. It's the worst nightmare to most offenses, but this is where Montini has done a pretty doggone good job of coverage underneath. See if you can get the depth of the linebackers when they get these deep drops. Play a lot of cover 2 in this situation. That is too deep. See the 2 safeties deep.
3rd and 12. Sean Dowling, the man in motion. McAdams to throw back
Good
across
coverage.
his body, and Ian Richardson reached back to try and grab it, but couldn't haul it in.
Really good coverage back in that 2 deep. They play that 2 deep, get deep drops underneath. Corner stayed home.
That's a tough throw for any quarterback to make back across like that.
It really is. I can't say enough about Campisi and Bear at the corner. They get, corners go unnoticed unless bad things happen to them. I used to tell my corners, if they're not talking about you, it means you're playing very, very well.
Richardson's punt down at the 43-yard line, punt of just 27 as he was punting into that little breeze out there today. It's picked up as the day has gone on.
Coach Andriano has opened up his playbook. He showed you some counter on that last 3rd down. He tried that middle screen. So he's opened it up a little bit, and let's see how he tries to finish him off here.
This Montini offense put up 405 total yards against Caneland in the semifinal win, 276 through the air. They haven't been able to get much going here in the second half. Field goal, punt. So that's just 3 points here in the second half. The pass out to Taylor. He makes a little move and gets a 1st down before he's tackled by Eric Kerr.
And along with what you're saying, Lee, I think Montini or more Glenwood, to their credit, has done a better job on Jordan Westerkamp in the second half. They've made sure that he didn't turn it into a track meet.
The one thing that Coach Rourke was talking about was trying to get some turnovers. The ball's going to be thrown out there. They forced 6 turnovers in week 4 against Jacksonville, but only 1 turnover, that pick by Giovanelli on the goal line in the first half as Willis has the carry out near a 1st down.
Well, I think Montini from beginning to end, and it's illustrated right there in that little give play, has had good balance today. They haven't been just a fling it up spread team. They've had good balance. They've run intelligently, and Matt has directed the offense very well at quarterback. He stays out of trouble. He makes the plays he can make. He kind of plays within himself.
2nd and 4 for the Broncos. Here's the pitch out to Borsellino, and he's got a 1st down, more fumble, and it's Chatham Glenwood ball. So were we just talking about turnovers? That was not a pick, but Borsellino couldn't hang on. I don't know if it was stripped out of there or not, but Giovanelli comes out of there with the football. Let's take another look.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Giovanelli stripped it. Strip tackle right there.
Looked like Zach Jost might have had a hand on it as well, number 53. Yeah. So just the 2nd turnover of the game for Montini. We were just talking about how they needed a turnover.
Unbalanced.
Hadn't been able to get it.
Unbalanced again, mixing it up in there. Play action, roll behind it, he's in trouble.
Yep. McAdams nowhere to go. A lot of maroon jerseys down in there.
Montini does a good job. They keep the receivers inside and in front of them. It's very difficult. You have to really be able to administer the plays in behind or underneath the linebackers, because those safeties have depth. Of course, they know they have a lead, so they're going to play with extra depth back there now.
Frank Monton.
They play that cover like an umbrella if you looked at 4 spokes back there, and they do a good job of keeping the ball, as we say, inside and in front.
Frank Montalto, Ross Ferraro got in on that sack. McAdams running for his life again. He finds Richardson this time, and back out near the line of scrimmage to the 32.
What they do, Lee, is they're forcing you to throw that ball, to check it down, to throw the dump offs, and then their terrific pursuit ends up closing the gains down.
Ian Richardson with his third catch of the game.
Yep, Montini is not on the verge of their second state championship by accident. This is a well-schooled team with a good talent mix.
Miles McAdams, 4 of 9, 45 yards and an INT.
Man-to-man coverage this time.
Harris
they got
in motion.
Man-to-man.
Here comes Montini's defense. McAdams gets away, and he's got some room to run out across the 40-yard line, just a little bit short of a first down. He'll be about a yard short.
I think he's the kind of guy that shows great promise as a sophomore. I wouldn't be surprised to see the coaches at Glenwood develop a passing attack as he grows and matures. You know, they're gonna lose some key seniors in the running game. I could see this kid ended up, you know, once he gets in a pass-friendly offense, and with his mobility, I think he could really light it up the rest of his career.
He just avoided Anthony D'Amato, number 21, on that to keep the drive alive. 4th and 1. You have to go for it at this point if you're Glenwood. Down 31-14 and just 7:10 to go here in the 4th quarter. The Titans 2 of 4 on 4th down. Von Nordheim check that. Giovanelli met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Broncos. Nothing doing there. And
that was a wall right there. That was a wall.
That might be it for Glenwood. With 6:57 left, Montini in control here in Champaign. The 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Lee Hall. Former NFL head coach Rick Venturi, 31-14. Montini with the commanding lead, 6:56 to go, as Glenwood just couldn't get the yards when they needed them, Coach, and that's been kind of the tale of the Montini defense all season.
It
Bend,
really
don't
has.
break.
As I said there on that last series, you know, they're about on the verge of their second state championship, and it's certainly not by accident. They're versatile. They're good on defense, good on offense. You know, one thing that's kind of lost, I think, in this game because of the score and the inevitability of what's going to happen is young McAdams is going to be a guy to really keep your eye on, I think, at quarterback. I mean, he's played under duress today. They've been overmatched at times.
Buy your ticket now for next year's game. I mean, Chatham Glenwood against Rochester. How about the quarterbacks in that game next year?
Oh, my goodness. He's extended a lot of plays just on athleticism and toughness. Yeah, I see a bright future there.
2nd and 5 for the Broncos. Westerkamp hands off. And that's Dimitri Willis, who's had a nice game. 4 different players have run the ball today. Matt Westerkamp, 9 rushes. Dimitri Willis now with 7 carries. Funny thing about Matt Westerkamp in the year he's had, Chris Andriano looked at him as a freshman and said the evaluation was his arm slot was too low.
Yeah,
not going to be a quarterback.
No, that's exactly right. It's not how it's not how you look; it's how you do it. And he's been exceptionally good. I can't tell you how impressed I am with Montini's ability to go back and forth from the gun to under center, and it really gives them 2 full dimensions on the defense. I see major colleges that absolutely can't put the quarterback under center, and I think that's a big disadvantage. I think that's a big disadvantage, and I think this has really helped him to have that nice mix today.
And you make a great point. And this takes me back to Northwestern University, the first high school football championship we covered, 1984, Peoria Richwoods. Tom Peeler, head coach, his son Greg, they hadn't thrown the ball all year. Run. They get to Northwestern's Dyke Stadium to play the state championship. They threw the ball a lot and beat Deerfield in that state championship game that year.
Well, you're talking about one of the legends and one of my idols as a kid, Coach Tom Peeler. That's my dad's vintage, and that's, of course, one of the all-time greats.
It's Taylor with the carry that time for Montini. He's got some wheels now and some good moves, too. Look at him. Love to watch guys run and wait for their blocks, wait for the play to develop, and it's not always about how fast, but if you're there at the right time.
I'd actually like to see Rochester and Montini play. I think because of the similarities in their schemes, and because of their skill set, I think it would be fun to watch.
Chris Andriano takes timeout with 4:22 to go. 31-14 Montini in control here in our 5A state championship game. And we are back in Champaign. 5A state championship football. Montini trying to make it 2 in a row as they lead Glenwood 31-14 with 4:22 to go in this one. We've got 6A state championship football coming your way next. The Suburban Christian Conference Blue will try to make it 2 in a row as Marmion takes on Rockford Boylan.
Well, one thing I will say, Lee, you have seen a display of high school passing game in the last 2 games from Rochester to Montini that is very, very special. And you're talking about a guy who's been in it 41 years and coached in every arena at every level. And I've got to say, I'm totally impressed with the offensive output and the passing game of these two programs.
1st and 10, Montini. Bear with the carry. One of the unsung heroes on this Montini team was Kurt Gitchell. He filled in at quarterback while Westerkamp was hurt earlier this year and threw for 5 touchdowns and 288 yards against Walter Lutheran. So there's a lot of talent that we're not even seeing today, Coach. 2nd and 7. Borsellino with the
comeback with the counter. With the counter
there.
There's been a lot of versatility. I mean, it's you know, and I think again I have to go back to it. I sound like a broken record, but the ability to go from the shotgun to get your quarterback under center is a real monster for the defense. You know, it almost forces you to audible your defense, which is very difficult at the high school level.
We talked all day about Westerkamps, Jordan and Matt, and last year Christian. Jordan's brother was the hero of the 09 title game, made the touchdown catch with under a minute to play and the 2-point conversion to beat Joliet Catholic. And we'll finish our thought after Matt Westerkamp throws it to Jordan Westerkamp, incomplete. The Westerkamp family has produced 27 Montini graduates. 5 are in school now. And Chris Andriano's coached every Westerkamp that played for Montini. That's an amazing
that's a legacy to behold.
You talk about Westerkamp and Westerkamp today, but
I think that's what's so great about this game. You know, we've seen father-son coaching legacies in the last 2 days. You see the game runs through families. There's just nothing like it. There's just absolutely nothing like high school football. I say that without any hesitation.
Matt Kirsten on for the field goal. He's kicked one earlier today of 29 yards. This one 32. Dead on. Matt Kirsten with the field goal to make it 34-14 with just over 2 minutes to go. And nobody would know more about football and family than you. That's always been an amazing story in our area. Your father, a longtime coach at Decatur St. Teresa, then at Pekin, and then yourself and your coaching career, and John, your brother, and Tom, who coached for a while and then got smart and went into insurance.
Yeah,
but
sure
I mean, it's touched your guys' lives in such a special way.
Oh, it really did. You know, and when I have a special affinity for the coaching sons, you know, the Leonards, the Unras. I knew Coach Unra's father. I dealt with him. And I said it last night, you know, it's an advantage to grow up a coach's kid because you learn the game at an early age, you develop instincts, but it's also difficult. There's pressure. You're kind of always held to that higher level. You know, you always have to achieve that higher level. I think I spent my whole coaching career, you know, in fear of failure, you know, because you had to come to a level that's special. So it was nice to see those guys walk off with titles last night and, you know, reestablish their own identity.
Well, and sometimes the kids outdo the dads. I mean, you took it to college, to the NFL, and
yeah,
that's nothing against your dad, but I mean, you took it to a different level.
And my brother John won 1 million games. You know, I mean, he did a great job, and you know, probably, you know, in the end, actually outdid my dad in terms of wins losses.
And Jordan Westerkamp here today has more catches in a season than his dad Bob, who was an All-American at Benedictine College.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and you're gonna, you know, they're gonna approach next season with great anticipation, because when you start with a playmaker like that, now you've got something to build on right from day one.
Matt Kirsten's second field goal of the game ties a 5A state championship game record.
I certainly think there's a lot of upside, as I've said all along, with McAdams. I'd like to see him come out here at the end and throw the ball a little bit and get some confidence as he ends this season.
Jordan Westerkamp's numbers pretty impressive today. There's one down the middle, little floater, and Giovanelli tried, got hand on it, but couldn't bring it in.
That little split finger on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a kid that didn't play. He played half a season as a freshman quarterback because of injury.
Yeah. And
then to lead his team to the state championship game here today as a sophomore. The future's bright for him. Of course, he's had a lot of help with, you know, he's not going to have Von Nordheim Moore and Giovanelli back there next year, so they'll have to develop a run game around him.
Exactly. And, you know, he's got to work on his throwing skills. What I do like his ability to avoid, his ability to play with maturity. He's taken quite a beating, and he's hanging. If you watch him in between plays, he's taken some shots today.
He does have that knack to get away from pressure.
Really does.
Too,
he really does. He's very calm under fire, which is something that you can't teach. You have that or you don't, you know, and I love that in a quarterback. You see a lot of quarterbacks look great in practice, look great in 7-on-7, but when they have to avoid, when they have to make plays, sometimes it's not there.
Minute 34 to go in this one. McAdams fakes, now goes deep for Harris, has him, and the catch is made by Roz Harris. And Dan Rourke says this guy, Harris, is a Division I wide receiver. He's getting looks from Illinois State and Eastern Illinois. He doesn't have a lot of catches. He doesn't have very impressive numbers because they haven't been able to throw that much with a sophomore.
No doubt about it. And that was a good shot right there. Again, those are the things that you want Adam to grow within this game. He's on the biggest stage in high school football. You want him to finish out positive here as he looks forward to his next 2 years.
1st and 10 after the 40-yard pickup. Another quick hitter, gain of about 2. That was Harris again on the corner. He's a big
He's got
kid.
a little no-huddle going here. See, he's got a little no-huddle, has to direct it.
6'2", 174. There's McAdams' numbers. Throws it out to Giovanelli, but again, just a little behind there.
A little behind. He's a kid with his athletic skill set. Want to throw about 1,000 balls a day, because you can improve that. The arm is there. You got to improve the skill set.
The Broncos a minute 3 from celebrating the 3rd state championship in school history, the 3rd for Chris Andriano as head coach. Oh, what a great defensive play that time. Zek Tredenik reaches in and ankle tackles him with one hand, it looked like.
Tredenik has been all over it today, as he always is, and that was just great edge speed. He just turned it loose coming off that left edge.
4th and 14, McAdams with more pressure. shirt untucked, looking for somebody open, can't find anybody, avoids another tackler, now just throws one up for grabs, and it's brought down by his receiver, number 6, Sean Dowling, his first catch of the game.
What a play by Adam, though. I mean, you talk about keeping the ball alive, extending plays, you know, and in many cases they're overmatched, and he's just making things happen. Look at him. He can hardly walk coming off the field. I mean, he's worn out.
Make a old man of you young, won't it?
Oh, my goodness.
That was a pickup of 26. Let's take a look at that last play. Oh, they've already gotten the coach.
Oh, man. You got an icicle today on that one.
That was the defensive coordinator, perhaps. Chris Andriano has yet to receive his shower with 28 seconds to go.
Well, Montini has been impressive. There's no doubt about it. As I said, really in every phase of the game. You know, they've had good balance on offense, running and passing. They've had all kinds of wrinkles. You know, their star, Jordan Westerkamp, played big, just like you would expect, came to the level you expect. And on defense, they're impressive. They're very impressive.
After an 0-2 start, the Broncos turned it around. And, you know, I mean, they had a bullseye on their back, that's the cliche, all season long, and Chris Andriano said, you know, it's really a feather in anybody's cap if they can knock us off. Well, they lost their first 2 and haven't lost since September 4th.
It's very difficult when you're established as the favorite. There's a pressure that goes with that, and there's
Harris with the catch.
Good play by Harris. You see, that's a back shoulder fade. I'm not sure if it was intentional, but that's how it worked out. You run the fade, and if the defender is high, you just throw it to the low shoulder or the back shoulder. So you throw it away from where the coverage is.
Ball came out after he stepped out of bounds with the reception, and it's 1st and goal for the Titans, who have not quit. Down 20 with 24 seconds left. They are plugging away.
I can't tell you what this drive can mean to McAdams in terms of his future. This is a terrific drive. He made great plays along the way. Obviously a ton of improvement on the pure throwing part of it, but he showed some athleticism, some leadership, some toughness today that I'm going to be excited with if he's my quarterback the next 2 years.
Giovanelli plunges in for his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Tony Giovanelli for the touchdown for Glenwood.
And we await the extra point by Jimenez. Giovanelli, he looks like he's been through the ringer today too, and of course he has.
As we talked earlier in the game, if West Point is the destination for him, he looks like a perfect match. Even if it's not on offense, I really like him as a defensive back. I could see him playing at the major college level as a defensive back.
34-21 after the point after. Giovanelli 2 touchdowns today, but only 33 yards. So that kind of, I mean, Von Nordheim more with 144, but that tells you how tough the sledding was.
It was tough
against
sledding.
That Montini defense.
It really was. And you know, I got to take my hat off to the gameness and the toughness of hanging in there of Glenwood in the second half. You know, this team could have had its will broken. It didn't allow that to happen. You know, and they actually ended on a positive drive and a positive thrust. And you got to take that. You don't hang your head when you lose to a power like Montini, and when you have a sophomore quarterback who I think really grew today. I believe that he grew a long ways today.
And that's the impetus. That's what you want to try and do, is improve every day, every down. And I think we did see that today, Coach. I think that's a great point. We're going to see 21 more seconds of football before Montini takes a state championship. But then you look at that, you know, you saw the score there at the bottom. It was 21 first quarter points, 14 of those off turnovers. And we got ourselves a 13-point game here. So yeah, Glenwood can look back on that on the onside kick here.
They're fighting to the end. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if you're Glenwood now and you have a sophomore quarterback come out of it like this, now it opens your eyes. Now you get creative a little bit in the usage of him. You lose your top senior running back, so you don't walk out of here like it's a loss.
D'Amato covered the onside kick for Montini, and The Cubs don't get to use that W flag often enough, but Montini's waving it here today.
Can a spread offensive team take a knee?
Good question. Excellent question.
I guess you can't do it anyway.
Tom Lentine in at quarterback, and
yes,
he will be the one, the holder on the kicks.
They can.
The man with the hands holds the football high in victory celebration for Montini.
Back to back. That's tough, guys. That's tough.
After an 0-2 start, both these teams started 0-2. Chris Andriano leads his Montini Broncos to back-to-back state championships. 34-21, the victory here for the men in maroon. And Chris Andriano is head coach, 3 for 3 now in state title games. 2004, they beat Cole City, Joliet Catholic, the victim a year ago, and today they beat Chatham Glenwood 34-21 to win back-to-back state championships. And that Montini program, that's their third championship since '04, Coach. They have really come around.
They're the real deal. There's no doubt about it. They understand this system. You know, after watching it today, there's no surprise that Coach Andriano wins the big games. I mean, this was a terrific game plan constructed. There's no doubt about it. He added wrinkles to his plan. He kept people off balance early to get the advantage, utilized his personnel as well as it could be utilized, and then played good, sound defense all over. Obviously, they deserve the 2 state championship. There is no doubt about it. They won that with an exclamation point today.
34-21, the spread offense, and the Montini Broncos pick up a state championship trophy here. We're back with more. We'll see those victory celebrations and state trophy presentations when we return. The 2010 IHSA Football Championship brought to you by Country Financial. And the men in maroon celebrating back-to-back state championships for Chris Andriano and Montini High School in Lombard. 34-21. They took advantage of some turnovers and got the lead early, and they were the lead horse all the way, Coach. The Broncos were, and they weren't to be caught today.
They really were. I think they took the initiative in the very beginning of the football game. They got into they mixed their regular spread offense, their shotgun attack, with the quarterback under the center, the quick hitters to Willis. You know, in the one drive, I think they had 5 plays inside the tackles. They really forced Glenwood a little bit out of what they wanted to do, kept them off balance, you know, and they were able to get Jordan Westerkamp. They were able to shake him several times in the first half and really won the ball game in the first half. In the second half, they kind of sat on it a little bit. And I think Glenwood did do a better job in the second half of trying to take away Jordan, which is not an easy deal. But again, just good, solid team from top to bottom, well coached, really good on defense, and offensively fun to watch.
Let's take a look at some of those second half highlights. And it was a lot of defense for Montini. They couldn't get Von Nordheim more stopped here. He had 144 yards rushing on the day. The long one of the day was his 58-yard touchdown run. It looked like Glenwood might have a little life there, Coach.
Oh, it really did. It just tough running. And, you know, this was the real third and long situation. He had to put it down in there. Again, Glenwood had real trouble when they got behind in the count. And early in the game, between turnovers and penalties, they just continued to shoot themselves in the foot.
That defensive line and linebackers for Montini really doing a nice job. They did give up the 144 yards to Von Nordheim more, but held Giovanelli to just 33. And if you can contain one, it's one of those things, you pick your poison there. And the 2 guys didn't get him. One did, but holding the one guy to just the 33 yards, part of the difference in this ball game.
Yeah, for the most part, Montini took away the Glenwood, the basic offense, the things they like to do, the basic runs. They got gashed a little bit on that draw when they got spread out, which was a little bit out of the box for Glenwood. but they shorted up later in the game. In the second half, they were able to make the adjustments. What you like about Montini, they're not the biggest team in the world on defense, but they just play team defense. I mean, really team defense. They cluster the run. Those guys play tough up front. And then they're as fine a coverage team, I think, that I've seen in high school. Maybe it helps that they play against their own spread in practice, but they really get it. They'll play top down on the ball with their secondary, good underneath drops, and then great pursuit. So, they really took away, for the most part, what Glenwood likes to do. Glenwood, at the end of the day, fought back in there. They really did, and they deserve some credit for that.
Those early turnovers, the difference in this ball game. Points off turnovers for Montini, 14.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that they just couldn't afford to come in here. They were going to have to scratch it out. The 305 to 308, probably isn't unexpected, but the two easy scores is what separates really separates the game.
And many of those Glenwood yards are kind of feel-good yards at the end of the game.
Yeah.
No way indicating the difference in the score and the win for Montini, who really in control of this game all the way.
There's no doubt about it. They're definitely a repeat state champion for a reason. Basically a dominating performance. I think the one thing, though, that if you're the Glenwood coaching staff, you're proud of your guys' efforts for fighting back. And you come out of it and you say, we had a sophomore quarterback really grow today. We've got a guy we can build around. Maybe you adapt a little bit, you change for his abilities, improve the pure throwing that he has. But there was a lot to like there, Lee. It really was on McAdams. I think that last drive was really good for him, feel good or not. It was, he did a lot of good things on the drive and made some plays, some individual plays. So, he'll come out of there with hopefully bitter with a loss, but with a great commitment to go forward.
Dan Rourke leading Glenwood High School to the state championship back in 1998 in 4A. This is their first trip back to the state championship game, and usually the season, when you look at their playoff runs in the past, 2003, 2005, 2008, and last year it's run into Sacred Heart Griffin and go home. A great program this year. Sacred Heart Griffin maybe down a little bit, lost in week one of the playoffs to Jacksonville. This team beat the team that beat Sacred Heart Griffin, and to continue their season and bring it down here in a really wild, hard-fought game against Jacksonville, 48-47 in round 2 after beating Bloomington in round 1 by a touchdown. Then a 10-point win over Springfield High, and then a very dominating performance against a very good Peoria Richwoods team last week in the semifinals. Montini, this is starting to get kind of routine. I don't want to say routine, but it's kind of turning into the norm for Montini. Coach Andriano crediting offensive coordinator Louis Borsellino for bringing in the spread offense and turning them into, they were here in, of course, in 04 before Borsellino was there, but back-to-back state championship trips, there's a lot to be said for that type of offense and what these kids have been able to do with it.
Well, the offenses that that we've just witnessed, in the 4A and the 5A championship are special. They're mind-boggling to a degree. If it was a perfect world, you'd ask the Illini if we could use the field tomorrow and see if we could get Rochester and Montini to lock it up. I think that would be an offensive display that would be hard to believe.
That brings to mind Riverside Brookfield and their great offensive teams of the past and the ability to get it up and down the field in a hurry. And that Mike White guy who used to coach here, that's kind of the way the Illini played a little bit more, spread the field out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's it's obviously popularized. Coming from St. Louis, University of Missouri is very successful in it. I've watched Texas Tech over the years, the Oregons. it's such a popular college offense, I think, but to install it at the high school level and to be as proficient and then to be able to change gears today is incredible. To be able to go from the spread back under center. I mean, there's a lot of college teams that won't do that. They refuse to do it. So again, I walk out of here totally impressed with Coach Andriano and what he's done there. It's just it was on display today, and God, did those kids execute.
Well, it's interesting to see the different schools come down here. We saw different approaches in our games yesterday. You saw Lena Winslow in 1A that plays the triple option, and old style smash mouth Sterling Newman against this kind of a spread offense, and the old school away one. Now today and last night you see the spread offenses. So it's more about who you have and how you use them.
There's no doubt about it. I think when you believe in your system, though, at the high school level, and there's got to be flexibility. I mean, I learned that from my father, was a high school coach his whole life. But when you learn that system and you install it, what you begin to do is you learn how to plug kids into the system year after year after year. And you learn how to plug them in, and you learn how to, I think one of the underrated things is how you call the game. And if you stay with a system for a while, you're gonna call a sharp game. I mean, they knew when to go into that double coverage and when to stay away from it.
Coach Ron Zook is here from the Fighting Illini.
My friend.
Oh,
my
boy.
friend.
We may not get Coach Venturi back from the 6A game.
Good win in Wrigley, man, over my alma mater. That was a good win. Oh, doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm on the dark side now.
All right, Coach, I don't know if this is a spare headset I'm supposed to give you, but Coach, just say hi to the folks real quick. Not that one, not that one. Here it is. Sorry, I'm new to this technology.
I know. That's what everybody's saying to me. You coach at Washington.
Coach Zook, what do you think out there?
Well, I tell you what, we've got practice going on, so we haven't been able to be quite as involved this year, which is a good thing. But this guy right here, he is the absolute best in football. I mean, there's no question, not only him, but his family name, his father, his brothers. But he is as good a football coach as I've ever met, and probably wouldn't be here without him.
Listen, there's nobody like Ron. They're doing a great job. That was a great win last week. And he and I toiled down there with the New Orleans Saints. I mean, we're the only people that beat. I kid those people in St. Louis. We beat the greatest show on earth 3 times out of 5 in 2 years. So we've had to construct some game plans together, and I was so happy to see him get that win last week.
You played half court at Wrigley Field. Maybe that's the way to go, huh?
And that was such a great. Even though, I mean, you really once the game gets going, you don't even realize it.
Sure.
But I coached in 8 Florida Georgia games, and I'm going to tell you that game was every bit of the Florida Georgia game.
I thought it was awesome. You created a buzz in the middle of the season that you couldn't match. I hope you continue to do it. I'd even like to see you come back to St. Louis. I think you got a buzz down there with that one, and that's a little different. But it's fun for us down there. So, but good luck out next week, and keep going, man. Keep going.
On the West Coast, and we'll find out where we're going. But it was a buzz. And our guy, I think both teams enjoyed it. I know Pat enjoyed it, and I think it was good for Chicago, and I think it's good for both programs. And it was a lot of fun. It really was. Of course, all the hoopla around it, and all the things that they tried to make negative. It really was a great atmosphere. So.
It's adapt or die, right, Coach? I mean, we learned that a long time ago.
I'll tell you what now. I always tell our coach, they hear all these stories, Rick Venturi stories. Here we go, 3 hours of heck. Let's go. Here we go.
Oh, man.
Coach, thanks for joining us. Good to see you. We'll let you guys catch up. All right.
Good luck and good luck in the bowl.
Thank you, man.
All right, Ron Zook, Fighting Illini head coach, joining us here.
Stay in touch. Stay in touch.
All right, coming up, we've got more high school football coming your way. The 6A state championship. Marmion Academy, Rockford Boylan teeing it up next for the 6A state title. That and more coming your way next on the IHSA TV network. The IHSA 2010 Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial.
We're here with Montini head coach Chris Andriano. Coach, you came here, you did what you had to do, you played your game, and now the Montini Broncos are state champs for a third time. What's this mean?
2 in a row. That was the thing that was pretty significant about this. This puts us in a kind of a special group and a class of teams. And it's our seniors have been awesome. Tremendous momentum from the win from last year. These guys knew they were good, and we were pointing to this season, really. It's been an awesome, awesome year for our whole Montini school community. It's been a ride that we'll never forget.
You mentioned off camera that you guys took some momentum from last year's win. How did you see that play out this year and propel you guys to another title?
Well, a lot of these seniors from this year were starters last year for us, played a lot of minutes and played significant roles. And that was a class that we thought all along had the talent. So we were really pointing toward this year as being a championship year. And last year was just like, it was the miracle. It was a dream. And we pulled it off. So, we got a lot of momentum from that last year. And these guys are really good.
Coach, congratulations. Go celebrate. Chris Andriano, the head coach of your Class 5A state champion Montini Broncos.